What's going on, guys? Welcome to another huge, with capital Y, episode of Triggered. Thank you so much for tuning in. So much to talk about tonight. There's so much going on. The insanity, the debate performance, Fox literally locking me and Kimberly out of the spin room. I mean, it's an RNC debate. My father's leading by like 50 points, but why not have his surrogates in there? So I'll have a lot to say, but more importantly, I know you guys have told me, a couple of times by accident, sort of stumbled into the Ask Me Anything format. I think Carrie Lake missed a flight once, and then we were like, no guests, so let's just take your questions. You guys said you liked it. So in response to that, I'm just going to be responding to your questions, to your comments. So comment away in the live stream. I'll do my best to get to some of them. I'll have my team sort of try to pick out perhaps the best ones, and this is going to be about you. So the breaking news tonight is my father is currently en route to Atlanta, where he'll be at the Fulton County Jail. Fulton County Jail on yet another baseless political indictment. This stuff never ends, folks. It doesn't end. It's absolutely insane. But hey, I think Martin Luther King was also put in the Fulton County Jail, so maybe he's in good company. This is the fourth time this year that this has happened. We can't become this numb to this, right? People are doing literally nothing about billions and millions of dollars being traded with the Bidens from every corrupt regime in the world where they've never done any actual business other than peddle influence. And it's like, oh, that's fine. And they're going to try to throw my father in jail for the rest of his life. He's a young and vibrant man, as you know, but 750 years or whatever we're up to now. I know death is on the table for some of those things, and I don't think they'll get their way with all of that, but if they win one or two, that could be a life sentence for someone who's 76, This is what we're up against, and most importantly that everyone has to remember is this is not normal, it's destructive, and if they can do that to the leader of the opposition party, but not just a leader in politics, someone who has such a huge portion of the country absolutely behind him, someone that has huge power in his own right, even out of office, as a businessman, as a billionaire, someone who has a platform and a soapbox to be able to speak from, an entire, literally, a social media company to get his message out there. If they can do that to him, who can't they do it to? But more importantly, perhaps, who won't they do it to? You've all probably seen the meme of, in reality, they're not coming after me, they're coming after you, I'm just in the way, with Trump in there. And each one of these days, I realize that's more and more true. The Democrats continue to use law enforcement as a tool to interfere in the 2024 election. That's what this is about, folks. They, and the Republican Party, frankly, based on the actions I've seen over the last 24 hours, but, honestly, over the last 2 years, they just want the power, and they'll do anything possible to maintain it. And that's why they see Trump as such a threat. The prosecutors are political actors. They're political hitmen. Their job is to help Joe Biden, a man who can't form a complete sentence or walk up a flight of stairs, can't grasp the gravity of the Maui fires without having to make a joke about maybe almost losing his Corvette in a fire at his house that lasted for 20 minutes and wasn't really a problem. A guy that can't grasp the gravity of a situation has to check his watch when he's receiving 13 bodies of some great Americans who died in his botched Afghan withdrawal. They want him to have a second term because he's doing the bidding of the Democrat Party. He'll sign whatever they put in front of him. He's too stupid to do anything else. Their goal isn't to pursue justice. It's to maintain power. They're targeting my father because he's the clear Republican frontrunner. And he's polling stronger against Joe Biden in the polls than he did against Biden in 2020 or Hillary in 2016. In other words, folks, he's in a position to win, and that scares the hell out of them. Okay? This is the context of last night's debate. And in fact, we actually saw this play out behind the scenes when I was banned from the spin room. I'm going to show you coming up and tell you just what happened. But for the debate itself, the 8 people that took the stage there, they don't have a shot at becoming the Republican nominee. Okay? All of the people with Fox News boosting it and all of the donors and the next 8 best, and they stopped Larry Elder from getting on the stage because he'd probably take out a couple of the people that they'd love to be their puppets, etc. It was still a smaller room than a very small Trump rally. They're either hoping that this election interference succeeds, which wouldn't surprise me at all, or they don't really want to become the president. They're just seeking some attention and a TV contract, namely like Chris Christie, right? We all know it ain't going to happen, but he's going to get his TV contract or something. And he can be the Republican, the conservative voice on MSDNC. We learned a few things last night, though, about the candidates. For starters, guys, Ron DeSantis is not a leader. At one point during the debate, and we'll start here maybe, and maybe I'll break some of these up into sort of points, but at one point during the debate, Bret Baier asked the candidates a really, really simple question. Okay, if you understand our base, our party, Bret asked this. He asked if they would commit to supporting President Trump if he were the nominee and convicted of a crime. Vivek Ramaswamy, to his credit, man, his hand shot up, yes, because he understands exactly what's going on. DeSantis was like a deer in the headlights. You see it. I'll play you the clip. Okay, he had to look around and waited to see what others did before raising his hand. To me, the rest of his performance was just blah. It was very robotic and choreographed. He copied a lot of Trump slogans. He used the phrase, a nation in decline. Like, oh, where have I heard that before, Ron? Like, literally, like he used it like 15 times. Like, he can't come up with his own stuff. And that's the thing that I knew about Ron DeSantis from 2018, having spent like 3 weeks on the road with him. Yeah, he'll always be known for looking around and half-heartedly raising his hand because he knew it was the right answer, but he's not capable of doing it. He couldn't make that decision on his own. Maybe he was looking for a donor, a billionaire in the crowd, or one of his consultants. But watch the clip just so you understand what you're dealing with, because we've seen, the clips, the 15-second clips for the last 18 months when either his paid, the paid influencers were making him into a hero, but it was always like a 10-second clip. They'd dunk in on some moron local reporter, and then they can make it go viral and this. But have you ever seen him long form perform well? Have you ever seen him go for an extended period of time? No, because he can't do it. It's not him. They put him behind the bar, and he has a beer because that's what humans are supposed to do. It's so fake and scripted. Watch this for yourself, because this is the death knell of his campaign in decline. I know he likes to talk about and steal my father's line about a nation in decline, again, because he can't come up with his own line, so he used what we've been talking about for 2 years, but minor details. His is a campaign in decline because he's incapable of actually making the right decision when it matters. Just like he had to flip-flop on the Ukraine war, where he told Tucker he took the Trump-light approach, and then the donors got to him, and 2 days later he had to pull it back. Just like before my father was indicted the first time. He said, well, the weaponization of our government against it, it's not real, and my father gets indicted. He can't read the room. He doesn't get it. He's incapable of that. Watch the clip.
Pledge to support the eventual Republican nominee. If former President Trump is convicted in a court of law, would you still support him as your party's choice? Please raise your hand if you would.
You guys catch that? You catch it? I guess, is it okay? Watch again. Here it is. Here's a zoomed-in version, because it just makes the point so much clearer. Vivek could be decisive. He made a decision. He understands what the Republican base wants. He understands what's actually going on. Ron doesn't. He doesn't get it. That in and of itself should be disqualifying. Watch here.
If you would.
That was the moment that Ron had needed. Okay? He needed it. He needed this debate. His campaign's been in decline for months since you've started seeing him actually have to be on stage or in front of people. Okay? He needed that moment, but that was the moment of the debate. But that's not the one he wanted. But that tells you literally everything you need to know. So someone's saying, yeah, you can't trust Ron or Mike Pence. Yeah, Pence actually showed more guts than Ron. The problem is, Pence, the only time he actually got applause was when he was defending Trump policy. You know, he says, well, I was there because it was the Trump-Pence administration. But, like, you think that Pence actually got any of those things done? No. Ron is actually the listless vessel. Remember how he insulted the Trump base, the MAGA base? Ron is the guy he said Trump supporters are. They're not listless. They know exactly what they want. They're capable of making a decision. Okay? But like Hillary Clinton, like the Democrats, Ron probably doesn't even hate Trump. He hates that base because they see through it. They see through the nonsense. And so, like Hillary with her deplorables comment, and all the others who have total disdain for the good, hardworking Americans who are trying to get by in this failed economy under the disastrous bullshit. Some of the shit that I wake up and I see on the news that are mainstream Democrat policy today, where I think I'm being punked. He takes the Hillary approach and insults the vast majority of conservatives today as listless vessels. You know, they don't know where they're going. They're without guidance. As you can see, in the moment that his failing campaign needed, he's the listless vessel. He's the one that failed. He's the one that didn't step up. DeSantis can't think for himself. As I've been saying for months now, again, the real Ron DeSantis is different from the one his supporters created on social media for a couple seconds here and there. When you see DeSantis in action, like you did last night, you realized that he's the listless vessel, the insult that he tried to put on all of our MAGA supporters. He's just sticking his finger in his air. Vivek did a great job with that one as well. Oh, which way is the wind blowing now, Ron? It could be anywhere. He's not a leader. He's a phony, a follower, bought and paid for by all of it. What did you guys think of that? I'm curious because, I mean, Richard Jones says, speak your mind, Junior. You know what? I know. I have to become a little bit more forthcoming. I'm not open. I got two screens going on because sometimes it's so fast. I'm trying to get to the questions as best I can. I'm not sure how many guys do we have on, guys? 16,000. 16,000. So it's a lot. So if you guys, by the way, don't forget to like, share, so other people can see this. Don and Don 2024. That would blow their minds. That would be crazy. So phony for, what did you guys think of that? I mean, because I was in the room, right? And by the way, Trump was so right to not go to this debate. We'll get to the Fox News stuff shortly, but Trump is a wuss for skipping. See, Jake, I get that you're trolling, but like, this is where people are stupid. Trump's smart enough to read the room. He understands what Fox, maybe even the RNC want to do. They want to put him in a setup where someone polling at 0.2% has 2 hours of unfettered access to crap on a guy that's 60 points higher than everyone else. Okay, Trump didn't get to where he is in this world as a billionaire, as a real estate developer, as having a #1 show on TV, or becoming the president of the United States with zero political experience. He didn't get that by falling for like a Paul Ryan intellectual lightweight reverse psychology trap. He's not a high school girl. Okay? He gets it. He understands. So he saw exactly what was going to happen. And instead, he sat out. And guess what? He won the debate handily by sitting out. That's not cowardice. That's called brains. That's who we want actually running the country. Yeah, Trump Jr. 2024. Man, the media's heads would explode. It would do us all a major, major favor. But Paul Ryan is evil. Wow, this is going fast, so I'm trying to do that. But yes, you're right. He's also a clown. He's the reason we don't have the wall because he was too weak to actually push it through Congress when we controlled it. We had the House, we had the Senate, we had the presidency. We could have gotten things done if we had actual strong Republicans in the House, which is why it's also more than just the presidency. But you were never going to get that out of Paul Ryan. His wife's a huge lib. He wants to be invited to the cool person party in D.C. It's a shame. But that's what we have to deal with a lot of people. Byron Donalds would be a pretty good choice. Yeah, listen, Byron was on. Kim and I live streamed for a couple hours in like 95-degree heat. I was sweating like Joe Biden trying to complete a sentence yesterday. It was brutal. But we had Byron on, and he's great. And just, solid conservative. He gets it, wants to get it done. He was out there. I think he was the only guy that actually managed to get in the spin room at Fox. That's a Trump surrogate. They blocked me. They blocked Kim. They blocked Marjorie Taylor Greene. They blocked Matt Gaetz. I mean, all of those guys and ladies were on the podcast with me yesterday, but Fox wouldn't let them in there. I mean, imagine that. They're blocking sitting Congress people. They let Democrats in the room to talk about what's going on, but sitting Congress people were not allowed to be there. And again, it's not a Fox debate, folks. It's an RNC debate, the Republican National Committee. Okay? They're deciding who the leader of the Republican Party will be for president in 2024, and the guy that's up by 60 points cannot get a representative in the room. I mean, that tells you everywhere you need to be. The other thing, let's talk about Ron DeSantis, because again, the influencers did so much for him, all paid, and that's why when they were like, well, why is Trump attacking Ron DeSantis? It's like, guys, for 18 months, they've had their people on payroll attacking Trump. So DeSantis, and they created sort of a false record. And I'm not even saying he was a bad governor. I think he's fine. But guess what? He's a good governor. Jim Justice. South Dakota's been run well. Like some of the conservative governors did a great job. But he wants you to think, and there's been a false narrative about what and how Ron DeSantis behaved during the lockdowns. You saw him pushing, the vaccine. You saw him pushing all the things. All those things were a lie, especially when he said that he never locked down Florida. His own campaign, tweeted out a screenshot of a CNN segment. And apparently, they neglected to watch this segment. So here, I'm almost shocked that I'm doing this, because I'm going to play a clip from CNN, like a minute and 49-second clip. But stick around with me. I'm still going to be watching for your questions. But here's the segment that the DeSantis campaign promoted. Tell me how you think this performance was, because it's pretty special.
That the claim that we kept our state free and open is misleading at best, and that's because Governor DeSantis is omitting a bunch of important information about what he did early in the pandemic. Here is the reality. He certainly did eventually open up Florida, certainly was faster than some other governors in doing so, but he did not keep it open from the start. In fact, he imposed significant restrictions at the beginning of the pandemic in 2020 on Florida's people, its businesses, and other entities. Here are some of the things he did in March 2020 and April 2020. He closed Florida's schools for the rest of the school year. He banned most visits to nursing homes. He ordered bars and nightclubs to close and restaurants to operate at 50% capacity. He shut down beaches in 2 big counties. He limited gatherings to a maximum of 10 people staying 6 feet apart on other beaches. He prohibited, quote, medically unnecessary, non-urgent or non-emergency medical procedures. He ordered 14-day isolation or quarantine at possible penalty of jail for people flying in from New York, Connecticut, New Jersey, and then Louisiana. And then, Anderson, this was the big one. In early April 2020, he imposed a statewide stay-home order that temporarily required people in Florida to limit their movements and personal interactions outside of their home to only those necessary to obtain or provide essential services or conduct essential activities. Now, beginning in May 2020, the month after, the state switched to a reopening plan. The stay-at-home went away. These other restrictions were phased out over time. But even that reopening was not immediate. He described it himself, Governor DeSantis described it as a very slow and methodical approach," that's a direct quote, "with capacity limits for businesses and the like." And that nursing home visitation restriction did not go away until September 2020. So the governor is free to argue, Anderson, that he allowed more freedom than lots of other states, but claiming he kept it free and open from the start, as he suggested tonight, just not the case.
That's 100% accurate, right? So there's a revisionist history that's going on really well, and they were able to do that with influencers because, they weren't officially part of the campaign, folks. Well, we'll do this in secret and try to do it. But, and again, I'm not even saying he's a bad governor, but you know what? As a resident of Florida, I'd actually like him to be president, right? He did like a 6-month-long book tour. And just so we're clear, I own a publishing company because so many of the conventional publishing companies were out there silencing conservative authors. So they always say, build your own. So I did. I have 2 #1 bestsellers myself. I've done book tours. They usually last about a week, sometimes 2. They don't last 6 months. Okay, when you had historic flooding down in Fort Lauderdale, when the airport was literally underwater, I landed in Miami one day. I had to park my car at Fort Lauderdale on the way out, the only way I could get flights. I couldn't get into the Fort Lauderdale airport for 2 days because it was underwater. Ron DeSantis was in Iowa campaigning. Someone just wrote, RNC, really not Republican, or really not conservative, sorry. That was pretty funny. But yeah, well, someone just said he should wait till 2028 to run. Too late. The problem is this. If Ron DeSantis actually wanted to win, right, he would have said, hey, Trump, I'm going to be your campaign co-chair. I'm going to travel the country fighting these battles. I'm going to help you raise money. I'm going to build up my own name recognition. I'm going to get better on stage, maybe try to develop some of that personality, et cetera, et cetera. He'd have been a shoo-in in 28. But you know what? His consultants, like Jeff Rowe, he's going to make 30, 40, maybe even $50 million this cycle because almost all of the money cycling through the DeSantis campaign goes to his ad buy company, goes to his TV company, goes to this company. The guy's going to get rich. He doesn't actually have principles on these things, but he's going to make millions, and so he pushes them to run, tells them it's his window, that's his chance. And now I think we blew it. So I don't even want to waste too much more time on it other than, well, a lot of people are, yeah, Ron listens to the idiots as well. And that's the thing, right? Ron ran because they said, well, before people got to know you, you're the only one. You can take on Trump. You can be different. Remember that? The whole argument of the campaign was he's electable. He's the guy that's electable. Well, he's losing to Joe Biden by 5 points, and Trump's winning by 3. So what happened to that electability argument? I mean, it was the entire foundation of that campaign. Ron's a bobblehead. Yeah, that's true. You notice that? It's like, well, it's also the voice that's a little bit, I don't know, man. It's rough. Beyond that, though, it's just the robotic presentation. Honestly, did you guys see, even when he interrupted, even when he tried, interrupting Bret Baier, it was like a fake interruption. It was like, we got to take command in a weak way. It was so obvious that it was pretty pathetic. Ron's a cartoon character. What about Vivek? Thoughts genuine. That's Shauna in Montana. It's an interesting question, right? Trump won the debate. It's not even a question. But of the people on the stage, Vivek's the only one that actually sort of reached out to the people. He commanded authority. He said the right things. Now, I'll call balls and strikes. He crushed everyone on the stage. That's not even a question, right? I don't think there's a single poll out there other than the Fox News poll. Nikki Haley, neocon rhino warmonger, definitely dominated. They realized that Ron's over, so even they were pushing Nikki Haley. It's sort of amazing. But Vivek had great presence. He commanded the audience. He said the right things. He had the balls to do what was right. Now, the question I have is, where was Vivek in 20? Where was he in 18? Where was he in 16? Now, maybe he was just apolitical. Maybe his political beliefs changed. That's his job to sell to the American people that he's genuine. But of the things that were said on TV last night, I think it's interesting. So I don't know. I got to figure out. I don't know him. I've never actually met him. So I got to make sure it's real, and we got to make sure you trust it. But again, I thought he did better than anyone else on the stage. Maybe Doug Burgum did okay, had some decent answers for things, but not enough of a commanding presence. I don't see that as someone who could do something. Nikki Haley just wants to get in every war imaginable. So, the more people get to know Ron DeSantis, the more his numbers drop. There's a reason for that, because it's all been a charade, as I've said. He took a page from Joe Biden's playbook, and we'll hang out, we'll let others do the sort of dirty work, but once you become the guy on the stage, you see all of that. Now, he doesn't have the advantage of the entire mainstream media doing his bidding. He just has Fox News. So again, as for the rest of the candidates, it was probably about what you would expect. I think you'll see I think Vivek will pop up into second. I think Ron will drop down into third or fourth. But Chris Christie sounded and looked like Ana Navarro. He was looking for a pizza. He was booed so badly at the debate that even Bret Baier literally had to tell the audience to settle down. I don't know if they aired that or not, because again, they're trying to protect these people desperately. But, here's a clip, so check it out. Chris Christie, boo clip.
Sir, you sit here and an answer right. Hold on one second. You sit here and an answer.
Go ahead, Governor Christie.
Hold on, Governor Christie.
Hold on.
Well, so listen, the more time we spend doing this, the less time they can talk about issues you want to talk about. So let's just get through this section. Governor Christie.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. So as I said, I think the one candidate that did all right was Vivek. Why? He understands that it's the 2024 race, and you can't run on 2004 policy. Look at what he had to say about Ukraine. How can he be the only person? Okay, I've gone all over the country. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on Ukraine as well, because I do this when I'm in small groups all over the country. I ask Americans, real Americans, not D.C. elitists and, sort of California, L.A., closeted conservatives, but like real Americans. Do you think Ukraine is the top issue, as Mitch McConnell would say, for Republicans? Like, not one person. Is it top 3? No. Is it top 5? No. I've not had anyone even raise their hand. Is it a top 10 issue for you? So check out this clip, because I think it's so important to understand that Vivek's the only guy on the stage that actually understood that no one in the Republican Party cares. Do any of you think it's a top 10 issue other than maybe a troll or two? Ukraine should never have happened. Oh, no. F no. No. Stop funding Raytheon. Vivek had the right answer. Exactly. And he also said that these people are bought and paid for. That was another great line. Hey, they're all owned by their super PACs. That's probably who Ron DeSantis was looking for when he had to make a real decision. No. Ukraine is a laundromat for DC. 100%. It's a money laundering scheme. Yeah, but play the clip, because I think it's important for people to see.
We face, and I find it offensive that we have professional politicians on the stage that will make a pilgrimage to Kyiv, to their Pope, Zelensky, without doing the same thing for people in Maui or the south side of Chicago or Kensington. I think that we have to put the interests of Americans first, secure our own border instead of somebody else's.
Yeah, I mean, Chris Christie, he went to Kiev to talk to Vladimir Zelensky, and I think he gave him like a Bon Jovi tape, because, it's totally normal in a time of war. He really needed to do that. It was so important. Like, these people are clowns. If it sounds familiar, if anything that you're seeing tonight, the positives, this, were basically because he answers what Trump was saying. Vivek says who the best president of the 21st century was, and listen to him, and listen to the crowd.
You raised your hand supporting.
I'd like to get in and respond. Let's just speak the truth, okay? President Trump, I believe, was the best president of the 21st century. It's a fact. And
guys, don't forget, okay, that is a crowd of even like elite donors and billionaires and the fundraisers and even they get it. or were overwhelmed by the people who were regular in the room. Like, now, I don't want to go on too long promoting, the Fox News debate. I don't think it actually changes all that much, certainly not as it relates to Trump or not. I think it probably ended some political careers. You're saying, hey, you agree? I think that was Sean again. She said, I agree about Vivek on the stage, don't know enough about him to. That's what I said. Like I said, he says a lot of the right things. He delivers it appropriately. I think he's likable. I think he's by far the smartest guy on the stage. But I don't know how genuine it is, or if it's just he's smart enough to understand what people want to hear, and we'll say that. The winner of the debate was Trump, and you're saying you're glad Trump didn't go. Yeah, Trump's going to walk into a trap set up by Fox News. I mean, I think that would be really. I think if Trump went to the debate, that would actually be something to hold against him for promoting this level of nonsense, or for being able, or for walking into that trap. By the way, one of the things I think we're going to try to do, because we'll get there in a little bit, I know at about 7:15, if we're still going and you still have a lot of questions, and it seems like there's a lot going on, I'm trying to keep up. It's actually going a little too fast for me to read, even when we put it in the slow mode. We can actually probably post, because it's open public stuff, we'll put the C-SPAN coverage of my father going into the Fulton County Jail and the arraignment. That'll be interesting. If he can negotiate out of a mugshot, should he do that, or should he take the mugshot? I'm sort of for the mugshot. Want to know what you guys think? Let's see. Okay.
There is a debate about whether you should smile or be serious.
Oh, okay, that's a good one. Pro mugshot. I think the mugshot may go down as one of the most legendary pictures in American history. Let's see, mugshot, no mugshot, mugshot. Okay, there's a couple of no mugshots. You don't think? Okay, if he does the mugshot, should he smile, smirk, give him like an FU look? I'm curious to see what you smile. Mugshot will become an album cover. You saw that. That's probably true. Maybe it'll certainly become a poster. I imagine it'll go viral as hell. But like I said, sort of like, I think, the Trump interview last night with Tucker. I mean, you're over 200 million views already. I think it's probably the most watched, seen sort of interview in the history of interviews now, which is pretty amazing. So I imagine that picture, wow, this is going so fast. Mugshot and album cover. Yeah, it's going to be merch really quickly, I imagine. I'm sure there's plenty of people already who have come up with that. Mugshot merch. Yeah, by the way, I'm going to do that, and not for myself. I have, sort of Shop Don Jr. where I just do some sort of, trolling, shit-talking merch. But I'm going to take anything from those shirts and just literally donate it to the legal fund. Just so I'm saying this to be clear, I don't even know what the mugshot looks like yet, so I'll have to come up with something if it happens. But I figure everyone else is going to be doing it and trying to, do something with it, anyone else in that world. So I'm going to do it, but I'm not doing it for me or for profit. I'm going to do it and donate the proceeds from those shirts to the Legal Defense Fund, just because this stuff's never going to end. I mean, it's millions and millions of dollars a month. And that's part of it, right? They're trying to break you with that. The mugshot memes, I see that popping up a lot. They're going to be... They're going to be a lot. So yeah, we're definitely going to make the T-shirt at probably more, and I'll put that on. It's just shopdonjr.com. Yeah, Shadi said, I hope they realize jail sells. I know, it's sort of like the rappers, you don't have street cred till you've actually been in jail or been shot at or something like that. So that will, it's sad what's going on, but we just got to fight back. Every way. Mugshot Beerstein, I like that. The mugshot mug. We got to get all over that. So yeah, I'll talk to my team over at shopdonjr.com. So yeah, we'll definitely do that. I want to see all of these things. You want to hug my father? Thank you. like I said, if you're writing the long questions, it's harder for me to read it because they're literally scrolling through so fast. So I can get a segment of it, and I can't necessarily call out your handles. If you guys, do you want me calling out the handles, or do you know that I'm responding to you? If you say something, because sometimes there's some repetition. But if you like it when I call you out by name, I can try. But with the handles and the abbreviations, sometimes it's hard to get it right, especially with that. Yeah, someone said Trump cred. I'm not sure he needs much cred. He was in like 135, rap albums before that, so he's probably already got it. But I think this reinforces some of that nonsense. Don't post bail. Yeah, I heard that from Bongino, who's a buddy. I don't know what that means, though. I think if you don't post bail, they could probably just keep you in jail. And if you've been watching these, your dad should have the biggest smile. Mama 5 kitties. Okay, he has a great smile. Thank you. And great hair, right? We got to remember that. That's very important. Someone just said, Junior President Trump is my idol. I appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much. I still haven't seen it. Do you like if I try to get the handles in there or just try to get to the questions as best as possible and you know who you are? They said handles? Okay, listen, I get it. People want some recognition. So we got to figure out how to slow these things down. How many people do we have watching right now? 15,000. So we got, over 15,000 people watching, so that's pretty awesome. Do you want me to keep, put the C-SPAN up in the corner so you can kind of watch it live as that's happening as well and take questions at, if it works out timing-wise? Would you guys want that or not? Yes.
Sure, yes.
All right, because who knows? Maybe it's interesting. I don't know what C-SPAN's doing just yet, but we can see what it looks like and try to make it work on the fly. I'm gonna stress the team out a little bit on this one, but okay, abso-freaking-lutely. Okay, wow. Okay, now it's rocking. So yes, it seems that people want to live stream that aspect of it. Give the finger for the mugshot. I kind of like it. Okay. I'm not sure how that works, but that would certainly that would be iconic. Opinion on BRICS. Oh, that's a good one. Listen, I think they're going to do whatever they can to dethrone the United States. They've done that, and we've pushed Russia closer to China and Brazil and this, and we've basically put America last. And we're creating the monster that's going to be used to take us down. Russia with MAGA. There was never sanctions on Russia like under the Trump administration. Like it's so ridiculous to even think that. Everyone said that prior to that, no one had ever done as much putting Russia in their place as Trump, and they took out a bunch of their special operators that were attacking Americans. No one even talks about those things. It's literally like the CNN talking point for 5 years. Even if they're dumb enough to not even they're smart enough to not talk about it anymore. So, I'm not saying the BRICS hate Western civilization. Not all of them do, but they understand that if they get together, they can dethrone America, and that's good for them, and they're doing what's going to be good for them. So, what's Renee P. say? Is they're coming for you next look? I like that. The only standing between us and them is Trump. And that's 100% right. I mean, there's a meme about that. I'm not sure if there's a look for that, but I think the look is whatever that mugshot is because it tells you everything you need to know. You guys are aware that influencers are pushing Q to tear everyone apart? I don't actually know that. I don't see much of it these days. There was definitely a bigger presence years ago. I don't see much of that, but maybe it's something. I don't know how they're breaking it apart. It was sort of like when I think it was the debate when one of the things were like, Donald Trump. The debate moderators asking him, "What is the QAnon?" It was like he doesn't know much about him. Well, they're really against pedophiles. It's like. Like, is this a trick question? Like, is that bad? Like, I don't. Sometimes I can't. Sometimes I don't know all of the sort of the backstory or some of the conspiracies. But the reality, I think, so many people are just latching on to whatever they can to be able to just defend a country that they love and they see disappearing, freedoms that they see at risk and at threat, and sure there's other movements like that, but Alex Jones was always right. Well, honestly, he's probably much more right on many things, not everything, on many things than our mainstream media. Byron Donalds for VP. Okay, yeah, guys, I'm trying to get the handles, but again, because the handles are sometimes long and sort of combined into one word, they don't read that clear. Nasty Fanny. Yeah, that's the lady, Fulton County, I guess, district attorney or whatever it is, who's going to be going after my father shortly. Don Jr. for VP. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. Don't think that's going to happen. I think not even we hate the media that much. Someone said Barron's 6'7". I think Barron's like 6'9" right now. It's amazing. I apparently was not fed what he was fed. I didn't get that. I'm pushing 6'1", but so I'm not short, but that's a whole different stratosphere. Who do you guys like for VP? Okay, anyone on that stage? Because the reality is, I think, frankly, a lot of the people on that stage, you would never even think about it at this point. Maybe one or two, but not many. Who do you guys like? Trump, Lake, or Tim Scott? Okay. Carrie's interesting. I certainly like her a lot. She was on the show yesterday. Byron, Lake, LaTurna Allen, I like that. Flynn, Byron. Whoa, okay, that's going fast. It seems like, yeah, from what I'm saying, I see a couple of Vivek, I see a lot of Lake. Just saw Tucker. That, by the way, imagine what that would do to the media. That would be what we call special. Byron, North Carolina, Lake,
Donner, Rick Grenell.
Kim for VP. Kim's perfect other than the Gavin pass. Yeah, we have that conversation a lot. that one always gets me in trouble. I have some fun with that. But Kim's been a conservative her whole life. But was born in San Francisco. So, like I was born in New York City. So surrounded by a lot of people that aren't necessarily that way. But yes, I always have some fun with that one. When she has an opinion that I disagree with, I'll say, but yeah, come on, remember, you're married to that guy. It's usually worth it till I sleep on the couch. Someone said Matt Rosendale. Okay. The ones I see a lot, I just saw a Noam. Someone's trolling saying David Duke. You stop, guys. That's fucking bullshit. Clown. I think, Carrie Lake, Byron Donalds seem to be the two dominant. I've seen a couple Noam, a couple Larry Elders actually. I saw Rudy Giuliani, Flynn. Flynn would be an interesting one, all right? Flynn would be someone you just put in charge of, make him head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and just blow up the lib bullshit in there, because I think that would be pretty good. So an MTG, okay. Gates, that'd be fun too. Andrew Frisilla, Andy's cool. That'd be interesting. Or I get it. By the way, some of these guys could be Nugent. Yeah, I want to make Nugent. Let's put Nugent as Attorney General and just we'll make him head of the ATF. How about that one? Maybe get some things done that we don't have to wait so long on our suppressors. All right, so Tucker Carlson. I think that would drive people crazy, and I think I'd love to see. I don't know that he wants to do it. He's a good friend. Frankly, I don't think he does right now. But I'd love to see Tucker eventually get in that game. I think he'd do great. Bringing some independence in there. Not caring about what the Uniparty thinks, etc. But now, so let's see. We've talked a little bit about this, but I sort of want to get away from almost promoting the Fox debate and even talking about it. They did, after all, ban me from their spin room, even after I was told I'd be allowed to be in there. But just so here's what I had to say when I was banned by the spin room. And you can see for yourself, if they try to pretend it didn't happen this way, there's literally 30 reporters around me watching security prevent me from going in and actually being on the thing. Check out this clip from the spin room when you get a second.
Trying to ban people from actually having discourse about politics.
How un-American.
Probably shouldn't surprise any of us. But that's what it is. And I've been told by others that I would be able to go in. So they said we were able to go in, then they said they weren't. Now that we're here, and the candidate that
said you can't go in the spin room.
They're telling me right now, Fox won't let me into the spin room.
That's what the American people should know. This is the kind of
they're telling him, he works for security here, but they're telling him that I'm not allowed to go in there. Because the candidates that they've been boosting while simultaneously trying to cut down Trump for the last, 2 years, didn't perform as they had hoped. So they can't have someone who can maybe be a representative of my father. Just like a few weeks ago when I was canceled after the first indictment, I was scheduled to go on. And about 5 minutes before I'm on, I found out I'm no longer on because apparently I wouldn't be a great surrogate to talk about my father's indictment. Just so we understand what we're dealing with here. So it shouldn't surprise any of us. And it's also why Trump was 100% right to not go to this debate.
Exactly.
It's beneath him, and when you know that you're walking into a setup because of exactly these kinds of circumstances, you understand exactly what's going on in mainstream media, even conservative.
It's very
I like to
un-American,
knock the one side, but I got to call
Amendment.
balls and strikes. This is no different than what we see from the Democrats. It's no different than what we're seeing from the Fulton County DA when they're trying to put a gag order on Donald Trump so he can't defend himself in court proceedings. And more importantly, to function as an intimidation tactic for anyone else who would defend him, where the DA there is then saying, hey, we're going to add you people to the indictment if you take part in this. I don't know, guys, doesn't reek of democracy. All the people that have been screaming that for the last 6 or so years, especially during the Trump presidency, when I believe we had a lot more freedom than we do now, or certainly since this administration's taken over, are strangely quiet. But I guess we shouldn't be surprised.
I just saw an interesting Trump McGregor, meaning Colonel, I assume Colonel Douglas McGregor, great guy, has been on the show, absolute badass, and he'd go in there and he'd fix the military in about 2 seconds. But as you can see, Fox is trying to put its thumb on the scale and choose who the next Republican nominee is. Someone who answers to them, someone who's a puppet of Rupert Murdoch or maybe Paul Ryan. Remember, Fox owner Rupert Murdoch was caught in a private email saying, we want to make Trump a non-person. There's a reason I haven't been on since August of last year. Okay, I used to be on every day. Sometimes I'd have to turn down shows because I couldn't do 2 or 3 hits in a day. But you know what, if you're good at fighting for your candidate and you do so passionately, they're just going to ban you. They're going to cut off your voice, your access, your soapbox. Fortunately, legacy media is dying, and fortunately we have alternatives like Rumble, like Twitter, like Truth Social, that are at least trying to do some of these things. And I've seen some censorship, a little bit it seems, on Twitter, but it's certainly better, I guess, than it was. The interview Tucker did with my father on Twitter got over 200 million impressions. Fox will try all it wants, but it won't stop the America First movement because it's the majority of our party. And when you think about Fox and those Republican candidates, they're effectively on the same side as Fani Willis, the Fulton County District Attorney, who wants to shut down speech. What's the point of spending millions of dollars and wasting all this time targeting someone who's polling at 60% and higher? Fox right now is probably promoting Nikki Haley instead of talking about how Democrats in Atlanta are abusing their power. You notice that no one even asked the question last night? Not one person asked the question last night. Okay? How are you going to take on Joe Biden? I don't know, guys. You'd think in a presidential primary election that would be a big deal, but it's like, that's not. The question they asked was from a young man, very well-spoken kid, what are you going to do about climate change? Another thing that I don't think is a top 10 issue for any Republicans that I've ever met. Okay? Sure, do we want the environment to be great? Sure, we can't do that while destroying our economy. We can't do that while destroying our middle class. We certainly can't do that. I guess China just pulled out of the Paris Accords, which they weren't going to actually join until 2030, I guess it was anyway, because we knew they never weren't going to anyway. They're not going to destroy their economy. And if you haven't noticed, we share a common environment. So we'll destroy our country. China will up their coal production. We lose everything. China destroys the earth and the environment. Oh, it's wonderful. We're going to lead by example while they laugh. And they take all the money like they've been doing. They take your American dream. We've been exporting. The only export we've had to China has been your American dream. We've given it to them. We've created a class of wealth in that country like you wouldn't believe, while creating poverty in our own and destroying our jobs. So this is going to be going on. Back to the mugshot, because I mean, I imagine that's going to happen. But candidly, I think the only people that should be getting a mugshot today would be Fani Willis, maybe the leaders of the DOJ, Hunter Biden, the crooked people we deal with all the time. But again, I remain confident because we've been battling the rhinos and the deep state for many years, and we keep winning. I'm not tired of it yet, or are you guys? Like, I want to keep winning like we are right now in this primary. We got to overcome a lot, guys. We don't have the mainstream media. We don't have all of those people on there. We don't have big tech. We don't have most of social media. We have all of those things working against us. But that's why we need to win, and we need to put an end to all of this. Jay Doko says, you enjoy reading my books. I appreciate that. I spent a lot of time on them. You know, the first one I did with a conventional publisher, and they literally, I spent a lot of time on it, but they literally go, oh, that's weird. We've never had an author spend this much time going through a book. I go, well, what's normally happens? Like, they speak with a ghostwriter for 4 to 5 hours. The ghostwriter cranks up something, they make a couple comments, and they have a book. I'm like, I turned each chapter like 15 times to make sure it was my voice and all of this stuff, and yeah, they couldn't even believe it. And it just, again, just shows you how fake so much of that world really is. It's sad. Before we get to some more questions, I want to take a couple seconds and thank our great sponsors, okay? These guys have some guts to be able to support programming like this. Guys, check out the folks over at Goldco. Take the steps needed to diversify your portfolio between inflation, reckless spending, global turmoil, all the reasons you need to be ready for what might come next. You see what happened in 2008, and like, how are we any different right now? Skyrocketing interest rates and inflation and this, I mean, people are going to be suffering, and I want you to be prepared. And owning tangible, physical, inflation hedging gold and silver can help secure and stabilize your portfolio. Goldco has top-notch customer service. They'll answer all of your questions. That's an important part, right? They'll take you through it. They'll walk you through the whole process. It's not just, here, click an option and buy it. Check them out. Go to donjuniorgold.com to learn more. That's DONJRgold.com. Learn more, take the steps, educate yourself. The worst case scenario is you just learn something. You don't even have to buy anything, but you learn something. And while we're at it, don't forget to check out the great folks at Patriot Mobile, America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. I have a feeling, guys, it's 2023. You're going to have a phone in your pocket. So do it with Patriot Mobile, where you're putting America first with every call while getting the same nationwide coverage as the major carriers. Patriot Mobile provides you dependable wireless service at an affordable price, putting your dollars into action and supporting the freedom-loving values that you believe in. They donate literally a portion of every dollar to groups that fight for the First Amendment, fight for the Second Amendment, the sanctity of life, protecting our brave police and first responders. That's a big deal. These guys literally funded some of the school board battles near where they're located in Texas and flipped a liberal school board that was pushing like trans nonsense in an area where that was not something that the parents wanted. They took over that school board and helped fund that fight. So of course they get attacked. So check out Patriot Mobile. Again, you can support, AT&T, their parent company, tried to cancel OAN and Newsmax conservative programming. Probably not people that are fans of you. Or you can check out Patriot Mobile. So for free activation, go to patriotmobile.com/triggered. Quick, easy, simple. patriotmobile.com/triggered. You can support a company like that with those values, or you can support those who hate your guts. So check them out, guys. We really appreciate it. Also, make sure to like, share, subscribe, and download the Rumble app so you can put up notifications for, like yesterday, it was sort of an impromptu, hey, we're going to go live at the debates. We did that. So if you want to see that, you want to get notifications of when Kim, myself are going on, I'll do that. Shiri Yara says, Kimberly, sexy president. She's downstairs in the line. I just heard her bursting out laughing. Baby, they think you're very sexy. That's good. Well, thank you. I heard her laughing, in the other room. So they need to abolish the Federal Reserve. Probably is a solid idea. Still like Fox, but they're making more and more bad decisions. Yeah, but like, why? Why do you like that? I mean, if you see what's going on, hey. All right, the other day, I like Kayleigh. I've been friends with her a long time. She got on, whatever program she's on and said, it's really a mistake for Donald Trump to, not go to the debates. It's really, like, please name one reason why it's a mistake. Name one, literally one political consultant, and I've met many over the last 6 or 7 years. I've met many. Some are fucking morons. Even the morons would never say that. That's someone who I like and is not a moron, but who got a memo from Fox saying, you better push this because if he shows up, we'll get better ratings. And they do it, and they fall in line. And, maybe that's their job. I get it. But, like, they are, that's what it is. It's all about that. So you have other options. So much good conservative programming on Rumble. You have, Newsmax is doing a great job, certainly stepping up and doing that. BlackRock owns Fox. I don't know how much of that's true, but I bet they own a big part of it. Rupert's jealous of your dad. That's interesting, because that's probably true. I don't know who said that one, but yeah, I imagine that's right. He had a lot of power in sort of that conservative movement, wants to maintain that power, and if some of that goes away, that scares him. Or if he doesn't have the control, for another 4 years, Rupert's an old guy. That could be it. And so, there's a lot to that power that people want and want to hold on to. So that's not simple. What I think we're going to do, I think we're going to start also simultaneously, just so I can keep going with you guys, the live chat over on Locals. So if you're on Locals, that's right, team, we're able to go live there. So the people who subscribe to my, every time I do this, I do an AMA, usually a little bit shorter, but it's a smaller group, so I can usually get to their questions. I'm going to do Locals simultaneously, so if you're on Locals on my platform, go there, check it out. I'll see your questions. It'll give me a little bit more time to actually see them and call you out and do it right, but we'll keep going. How do we fix the education crisis? Like, how about, let's abolish the teachers' union? Fox doesn't know nothing. I saw that one. Abolish the teachers' union and actually start holding people accountable. There's entire schools, folks, entire counties where multiple schools in a district, not a single person graduate, not a single person's proficient in reading or writing. I mean, minor details like that. You have the LeBron James Academy, whatever that he funded in Ohio, where not one person, put millions into a school to do it different. And I'm sure these people learned about grievance and how to be victims and talk about racism and stuff like that, but not one of them could read or write after spending millions of dollars. So our education system's pathetic. If you can get your kids out of those programs, out of, certainly our public schools, and honestly many of our private schools are probably broken as well, but if you can homeschool or put them in a Catholic school, I know, just score-wise, they way overperform per capita dollar. A lot less. I think we also got to, rather than just saying, hey, in your real estate taxes, you're going to pay for the local public school, be like, no, you should get, whether it's a voucher or a credit or something like that, to be put towards education. So you're not paying I pay a lot of money in real estate taxes that goes to public schools in my area. My kids aren't in there. I imagine it'd be a little bit better down here in Florida, certainly than it would have been in New York City. But, let parents control where that money is going and give them choices. That's a huge part of it. I think homeschooling is great if kids are then out also maybe playing some sports so they get the socialization that they need. I think that's important. Someone said DC Drano has proof that Vivek was involved with Obama. I don't know. I can call him. Rogan's a friend of mine. I'll find out. And like I said, what's scary is that someone who's maybe was that way. Maybe was a Democrat. Maybe he became conservative. Maybe it's an act. I don't know. But can still get on a stage against the people who think they're the top conservatives in the country and dominate them. If he's an actor and can dominate the best of what our bench is, that's scary. Zima 12 on Local says, hi, Don Jr. How's it going, guys? Weekend at Biden's. That's a good poster. You got the USA Now says, it's the Weekend at Bernie's poster, for those of you who can't see it on Rumble, but, supplementing in Biden. UNKG, LEK, UNKG did great on War Room. Thanks for doing that. Yeah, like I said, guys, War Room's on this platform. They do a great job. It's not about me or trying to dominate that. I did Crowder for half an hour last night. He's on this, you know. I don't look at it as competition. I look at it as like we're fighting for a movement. We're fighting for our freedom. We're fighting for our country. And so I'll get on there and I'll talk with everyone and try to help them. I mean, I guess that's why Fox doesn't want me talking or wouldn't let me. Yeah, people keep talking about Kennedy. It's like, I like some of what he says. Maybe you'd make him like an AG or let him take on, you know, Big Pharma or take on, you know, the deep state or something like that. But like as a VP or like, I know his stance on the Second Amendment, not a fan of that at all. It's pretty liberal. I mean, he's still a Democrat, guys. Like, you know, people keep pushing that, but like, I think that's a problem. Blacks for Trump support at Fulton County. That's interesting. I saw a meme today. I don't know what it was, but a guy, he was wearing, there's a word I can't say, you know, the A, the soft version, I guess, is maybe what some people would refer to it. I'm not allowed to say that because I'd be canceled even if I'm literally just saying what it said. But that for Trump 2024, and the guy gives I guess he's in Fulton County, he gives a really sort of well laid out argument for Trump versus the Democrats and Biden. And, you know, you see that. You see that whether it's the Hawaii response, not learning from the check your watch when receiving the 13 dead great military members. You see the Hawaii response, you know, I almost lost my Corvette in a fire, you know, meanwhile, fact check, the fire was put out in 20 minutes, no one was ever in danger, and it was isolated to the kitchen. Like, the guy can't even help himself. You know, Joe Biden talking about his son dying in Iraq. It's like, well, that didn't even remotely happen. Like, it's just, doesn't matter. Whatever, anything he can take advantage of for a story, he's got a made-up story for it. I'm sickened. This is Steph71. I'm sickened by tonight's Georgia shenanigans, but at the same time, the only Big Don is talking for us. Appreciate that. Can receive 100 mugs and shirts. That shit's going to sell. Yeah, I think that should be good. Yeah, so okay, you watched the Tucker interview. This Zima12 says this over on Locals. I'm going to look at both. I got both of these. So if I'm looking over to the corner, it's not because I'm ignoring you guys. Who watched Tucker? And what did you guys think? You know, again, Turnberry's great. You're right. That's golf, not really anything else, but it's important. Who watched Tucker, and what did you guys think? Okay, Cowpo, you did. What did you think? Do you think Hunter will turn on Joe? No, I think they'll work together, and I think, you know, when you have the entire DOJ and legal system in D.C. sort of covering your ass, you know, the FBI and this, I think nothing will ever happen from it, in my opinion. Tucker asked some great questions. Loved the Tucker interview. Absolutely loved it. Watched. Yeah, I think, you know, it was a real conversation. And I spoke to Tucker because I know they did it a little bit, I guess, earlier. It was, you know, sort of live to tape, so it wasn't edited, but they did it, you know, either earlier in the day or earlier in the week, whatever it was. And I spoke to Tucker because I was actually traveling. I was in Alaska for a week as that happened. No cell, no Wi-Fi, just, you know, sometimes I like to detach and get away, and I do my outdoor stuff. And so, like, I didn't even know, so I spoke to Tucker. I was like, hey, man, how'd it go? And he was like, it was great. You know, so I think the thing he goes, man, your dad is just sometimes so funny about some of these things. You know, the Kamala Harris response. It was really cool to see. Let's see. Now it's going too fast again over on Locals. You watched Tucker. Your dad looked relaxed and handsome. Thank you, Ladybug. Appreciate it. Interview was too short. No Joe. That's interesting. I mean, I think they did like an hour. So I don't know if I consider that short, but yeah, you know, I guess it wasn't a debate that went for 2 hours, but it was an hour without commercial breaks, unlike the RNC debate, and it wasn't 8 people, right? It was 2. So back and forth. So the reality is a lot more of that was Trump and talking about it. I guess they could go on longer. Maybe he'll do that or do something similar, or, you know, or with someone else, you know, at the next debate. Maybe you go Joe Rogan. Maybe you do something like that. I'd love to see that one happen eventually. Why does your dad like Gavin? Okay, gaming too long. Fair question. Okay, you want to know the actual answer? Why does Trump like Gavin Newsom? I think they don't agree on anything politically. During COVID, and this was when, we were still being told, ventilators are really important and PPE was critical. I had a long-term relationship, with Andrew Cuomo. My first political fundraiser ever was for Andrew Cuomo, amazingly. Like, hard to believe, right? His mom used to sit with my grandmother and get their hair done in Queens, New York. We've known each other for a long time. Like I said, the first political fundraiser I did for Andrew Cuomo, not because I necessarily believed in his politics, but I was a real estate guy. We build buildings. He was running for the Attorney General of New York. If you're the Attorney General of New York, you literally sign off on the offering plan of any building to be sold. So literally, without the sign off of the Attorney General of the state, you cannot sell, a condominium unit, if you're building and doing development. So you got to play that game. And so, I've dealt with Andrew Cuomo for years, and even during COVID, hey, Don, can you get me in with the president? Right? Sure. 5 or 6 times, hey, we're trying to do this a little bit. Do you think we can make it happen? Sure. I'd get it in there. He'd go in there. He'd be in the office. They'd take the calls. They got him everything he ever asked for. But when he went on TV, he fucking lied about it each and every time. He couldn't help it. He knew the press. He was trying to run for president. That failed miserably, right? That people were Cuomo-sexuals because he's so handsome. I mean, give me a break, okay? He literally got everything he could have asked for, and then some. He was liaisoning with me, okay, at times. Okay? I'm very close friends with, his biggest fundraiser. Very close friends, okay? He was doing all that, but when the cameras turned on, he went and gave them what they wanted, not the truth. Okay, Gavin Newsom, probably similar feelings to Cuomo politically, whatever it may be. But Gavin Newsom actually had the balls when asked and interviewed by, I think it was Mark Zuckerberg and others. He goes, listen, man, we're in 57 lawsuits with Donald Trump right now, or the Trump administration. We agree on almost nothing, but I'll say this. When I called and we needed something for the people of California, they delivered it. We had it the next day. That's it. So, you know what? They don't agree on anything politically. They're not buddies. Other than maybe, I think the one time at the California wildfires where my father actually showed up, actually did real stuff, unlike Joe Biden making an ass of himself. I don't know that they ever, met face-to-face more than once. But we live in a time, we got to be able to call balls and strikes. We have to be honest. We can disagree with people, but we can also still have conversation. We can disagree with 99% of someone says, but still agree with them on others. I saw that on social. I'd say, Merry Christmas. Oh, my God, it's the end of the world. Or, Trump would tweet it. It was worse than Watergate that Trump would say something so controversial. How dare you? And so it's not that he likes Gavin Newsom. I don't think he knows him, but I think he understands and respects that. And so he, my father meaning, being honorable, will actually return that favor and said, hey, we, during that time, the times we had to interact when we were trying to do what they thought was best for the American people, it was a relationship. They don't agree on anything, but they got things done. And more importantly, unlike Cuomo, which we were long-term family friends, unlike Cuomo, he didn't try to weaponize the politics and give the media what they want and create the feeding frenzy. He would have done himself probably a big favor, but he was honorable enough to actually not do that. And so people are always like, oh, there's bullshit that he's doing. It's like, no, it's not, man. That's how I want people to be. I want people to be honorable. I want people to be real. I want people to be able to say that. We should all want that. So you don't have to be, you don't have to agree with people on anything. But if you lie about the truth, if you do that for political cover or support or know that because you're going to get fluffed by the media, that makes you a piece of shit. And so that was the difference between Gavin Newsom and Andrew Cuomo. And honestly, there was a little bit of karma in Cuomo when he then gets called out by all the people that he was sexually harassing and all of that. And now he's out. That's over. Okay? And he did it to himself. He could have been honest. He could have been a decent guy, but he pretended to be a decent guy. So I'm not saying, Trump loves Gavin Newsom, but he will show the same respect that he was shown, and be honest about it. And guess what? I see it all the time when he says it. He's like, no, I like him. We actually worked well together for that. They were in 57 lawsuits between the state of California and the Trump administration, I think it was. I think that's from Gavin Newsom. But he says that. And he says it, and a lot of people that are Trump fans, I can't believe he would say that. Like, I actually disagree with you guys on that one. Like, I want people to be honest. I want them to call balls and strikes. I don't want everything to be bullshit for TV. Sound bites. You want sound bites? Go to Ron DeSantis' campaign. So, you know, man, he gets crap every time he says it. And I see it. I'll be like, and I know the backstory. Now you guys know the backstory. So, you know, but he still does it because he's an honorable guy. And he doesn't agree with them on much. So, you know, that's the story on that. Okay, so I'm looking over at both live chats. Do you guys get that? Do you understand? And do you agree with me? And if you don't agree with me, I'd love to know about it. But try to articulate why, and I'll try to slow it. Try to slow it down. Do you guys? Will Trump pardon Assange? I will push for that 100%. Because I now see it. I know what they've tried to do to me. I know what they've tried to do to him. You don't agree with everything, but most of it. Listen. If you say that we got along well with that, I like someone because they've been nothing but cordial to me in the times we interacted. I think we need to be able to say that. Well, Gavin's policy needs to stand up for the country. I agree. Listen, pushing the trans stuff, I'm not saying we agree with any of his policy. I'm saying in a time of crisis, they were able to function well together, and he admitted that rather than taking the easy way out. The media would have loved for Gavin Newsom to shit all over Trump, but the shitting on Trump would have been based on a lie. So I think that's right. So let's see. Okay.
We also,
I'm listening to the team.
Trump Force One landed
okay.
in Atlanta, and we have the footage up.
Okay. Hey, guys. So we're going to go. I'm going to keep answering the questions, but we're going to put Trump Force up live. Oh, it is up. Perfect. All right. Yeah, I was seeing that. I wasn't sure if it was actually up on the full feed or not. Let's see. Pardon Assange. Yeah, people definitely like that. How can the GOP not stand with your father and speak out more? Guys, hey, speaking out takes guts. Not everyone has that, you know? There's a lot of power in D.C. It's easy to be soft because you get liked. Because again, it's a predominantly Democrat city, and the people that cover it are all Democrats, and yeah, someone gets it. Yeah, you don't have to be a Gavin fan to understand that you have to work together to save the American people when you were, when we thought that's what was going on, and when there were people, legitimately dying. You guys all understand my opinions on a lot of that, I think, but we didn't know those things at the time, and we had to do what was right for the American people. So you should be able to put all of those things aside and do what's right for the American people. Trump RFK Jr. because they wanted to destroy the deep state. I like that, but I don't know that I want him to be VP because I'm too worried there's too much Democrat there. I'd like to put him in a position where he can just take on the deep state. I'm not sure what that is because AG is a little scary with some of that, but I'd love to put him in there or somehow let him lead a coalition of people to actually, take those on because hey, he probably has more to go after. Well, hey, here's my father exiting Trump Force One. Coming down the stairs to be, I guess, arraigned for fourth time. I'm not sure the number of years he's now risking in prison. I guess it's over 700, maybe 750. So let's just say a really long time. This is where we are as a country, guys. Let's not forget that. Let's understand this. Remember, the people shrieking about democracy during the Trump presidency when, let's just say, our republic was functioning better than it ever had, are awfully silent about what's going on right now. Now, last week when Vladimir Putin wanted to go after one of his enemies, screaming to the high heavens, Anthony Blinken, our Secretary of State, how dare they arrest the political opposition? I'm like, really, dude? What a clown show. Gents Good just said America has fallen. Man, it's certainly on its way. It's certainly toppling, and there is a point where you get so far down the line where they amass so much power, they take so much away from you that you can't get it back. And we got to make sure that it never gets to that point, because that's truly scary. Melissa Barnes sending prayers to you, your sweet family. Ellie K, I can't believe we are here and so fast. Yeah. Well, by the way, that's what I mean. You know, you think it would take long to destroy our republic. It's like, wow, Jesus needs to take the wheel. System of a Down. China's at our throat. Yeah, I mean, all of these things are true, and yet who's doing anything about it? The only one that took on China ever, you know, that's the thing. All right, let's talk about this a little bit, because his hair looks great. Thank you, Embedded Flower. Yeah. Everyone in the history of politics has made promises. You know, who wasn't going to build a strong economy in American politics? Who wasn't going to take on China or some foreign enemy? Who wasn't going to move the embassy to Jerusalem where it rightfully belonged? You know, who wasn't going to create Middle East peace? Everyone talks about it. It's like these are the top 5 sound bites in the history of politics. The peace deals in the Middle East, that was the holy grail of geopolitical politics. And Trump was the only guy to actually get it done. So that's the difference. Everyone in there, I'm going to do it too. Well, Trump did it, so I must be able to do it. No. Just because you're a bureaucrat that has done nothing like that doesn't mean you understand how that works. Remain in Mexico. We threaten tariffs. Our guys aren't going to threaten tariffs. The Club for Chinese Growth, the big Republican donors, they'll pull their funding from that person next election cycle. They got them by the balls. Vivek was right about that one too. All of these people are bought and paid for by the super PACs. Trump doesn't need that. So, yeah, we gotta keep fighting this thing. We got to keep fighting this thing. People keep talking about Vivek having taken money from Soros. I don't know if that's accurate or not. Let's look into it. Again, I like what he's saying. I'm not saying I've never met him. I don't know. I like what he's saying, but that doesn't mean I trust him. He's got to earn that trust. We got to see what's really there. That's his job, not mine. But of the people on the stage, to me, he said the best stuff. Trump has balls made out of steel. True. 231 million views. Pretty amazing. People are saying it. I maybe if he has, show me. And that'd be tough, and he'd have to actually explain that if it's true. I don't know if this is an influencer working for a campaign that says it, and then it goes viral because someone said it, and therefore it becomes true. I know they've done that to us a lot. I know they've done that to me a lot, and they'll take something and they'll warp it and whatever it is to weaponize it. The Democrats do that also. So let's figure it out. So yeah, I don't. Ronald Reagan says trust but verify. At this point, I don't trust anyone until I know him for a long time and see it. So let's just see. Is Joe back on the beach, by the way? Is he back on vacation? I think he spent 40% of his presidency on vacation, and that's an actual stat. So is he back on vacation? I mean, it's not like there's nothing going on, but incredible. You're literally in tears at how pathetic it is. Yeah, I'm not much of a crier. I think the last few years has broken most of that leftover emotion out of me. But yeah, it's just a sad place to be because you understand just how close we are to losing it all. No one can take the pressure that your father has for 7 years. I agree with that. Trump won and they know it. I agree with that too, by the way. They tried to get me to say, no, Joe Biden won. Yeah, this moron, he can't read, but he got 81 million votes. Like, I don't believe it. I believe things were manipulated. I believe maybe they end up showing up with those ballots. I don't believe a lot of them were legitimate and whatever. And I believe every aspect of government was working to make sure that didn't happen. I mean, I was in Wisconsin. They had plenty of shade over there that wasn't addressed, or they unconstitutionally, according to the state constitution, changed the voting rules because it was an emergency, so we just got to break the Constitution. It doesn't apply in an emergency, folks. The Constitution no longer applies in an emergency. That's what the weak Republicans want you to believe, and they did that, and they changed it. And then, we can't look back now. It's done. We can't touch that. I was like, wait, you actually don't follow the Constitution. There's no remedy for you guys breaking that? Like, what are we, morons? Like, yeah, it's a corrupt court, they're saying here, which wouldn't surprise me at all. Basement Biden. Did Biden get 19 more million votes than Obama? That's the bigger point, right? Does anyone legitimately believe that basement Joe Biden didn't campaign during a pandemic, got 19 million more votes than Obama 08? Not Obama 12 when you realized he was basically a failure. The problem is you're running against Mitt Romney, so it's a little different. Does anyone actually believe that, and by the way, only, Trump won, I think it was 18 of 19 bellwethers. No one's ever done that and lost, right? So you win 18 of 19 bellwethers, and Joe Biden magically outperforms Barack Obama in Atlanta, Fulton County probably. Sure he did. Joe Biden, with his racially charged past, abject stupidity. Yes, they were much more enthusiastic about Joe Biden than the first African-American president. Okay. And in Philadelphia, magically, the same thing. He could lose 18 of 19 bellwethers. And Detroit, all of these havens of, clearly havens of old, white, Irish Catholic racists. Yes, I believe that happened. Like, give me a fucking break. Absolutely insane. Someone asked my ideas on Trump's VP choice. I don't know. Not many of them on that stage. Most of them probably not. I think there's probably a lot of great choices off of that stage. Will Don Jr. hold a position in Trump 2024? Probably not. Probably not. They'd say it's nepotism, even if I, take a low-paying government job somehow. That it'll be nepotism. Hunter Biden can make billions from China, whatever it is. Like Ben Carson for VP. Ben is such a great guy. He's been so good, so loyal, so smart. I'd love to have him in a role again. I don't know if that's VP, maybe. You also have to just understand the role and the attacks and this. He's almost too nice a guy for politics. He's probably too smart and too nice for politics. Tucker for VP would be awesome, I think. I'd be just if only to see the media reaction. Even if it doesn't actually happen. Ellie K says, Kim for governor of Florida. That'd be fun. That's perfect. I can still do the stuff I want to do. I'm not bound by the same old bullshit if I had to do it myself. Could Scavino do it? Melissa Barnes. Dan Scavino, he runs and ran, a lot of my father's social and Twitter, and, longtime friend, worked for us way before politics. Knew me from when I was a legitimate kid. Now I'm an old bastard. I don't know about that role, but there's certainly a role for him, and always will be. He's just a great guy, and who gets it, and more importantly, who gets our base. When the idiots in the White House and the bureaucrats and the D.C. elite were out there, Dan actually got what was going on and could, maybe try to explain to these people who probably didn't even want to try to understand, what's actually happening. So that was, he'd be great in some way, shape, or form. You wanted Kim to run for New York mayor. That zero chance, because that would require moving back to New York, and that ain't ever happening again. I've probably waited 40 years of my life to get out of New York until I actually did, and it was the greatest thing I ever did, because I was never really a New York City guy or fan. Every weekend I'd try to get up and go to my farm up in Pennsylvania or upstate or whatever it was. I just got out. So Nick DiPaolo for VP. B. Hannenberg. Nick DiPaolo is a seriously good but reasonably disturbed comic. He's a friend. I don't know if you saw, he was on Crowder. He's on Crowder regularly. He was on Crowder last night when I did it. Bidenomics. Someone actually just tipped me in here and wished they could do more, but couldn't because of Bidenomics, which I understand. Can you pull that back up? Who was the handle of that one? Right, should be. Okay. Becker's 85. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. But yeah, so DiPaolo was on Crowder last night. He actually, in our world and whatever it is, you do well or you have access to some sort of power or whatever, and everyone's always kissing your ass or trying to, and you got to see through it. Nick DiPaolo literally showed up in I think it was in 18. I think I was doing a rally in Georgia, or maybe it was 20. I was doing a rally in Georgia somewhere, and he just randomly shows up. He's friends with someone I knew. It was like, hey man, I didn't even find out till afterwards. I get a text, I'm getting off the stage, and he goes, Nick DiPaolo's in the crowd. He goes, what? I'm like, the comedian? Like, really? Like, so we met up, hung out, and he literally just comes up and he goes, listen, I'm really glad I didn't follow you tonight. And like, you know, you got one of the best modern day, like, living stand-up comics saying, and I'm like, why is he? He's like, you're funny as hell, your timing's perfect, like you should have been a comedian. I just wouldn't want to follow you. And I was like, wow, that's like one of the great compliments I've ever received in my life. So I thought that was really cool. So again, you usually forget the ones that you know are fake or, you know, are there with a, you know, there's a caveat or a catch or they want something from you later. That was a cool one and actually meant a lot. Meant a lot to me. Scott Pressler, he's a nonstop Trump advocate. Yeah, listen, I think Scott's great, man. That guy's out there, you know, hustling. I think he's doing a bunch of stuff now with Turning Point about, you know, getting people registered in these states. I'm not sure. I got to figure that out. Yeah, that guy's been a warrior, man. He's out there. He fights. You know, he gets what's going on. He's on the ground more. He speaks to real people, not, you know, the billionaire class. I think that guy's awesome, and I'd love to see him, you know, do more, or keep doing what he's doing, or have someone fund him to, you know, build a bigger team to do a lot of that, because that's, you know, that's the game the Democrats, play, and so, you know, I think we got to be doing that. We got to make sure guys like that exist, and you know, can't have one. You know, they got hundreds, maybe not quite as good as him, but the Democrats have hundreds of those guys in every city of the country, and they're out there doing the same thing. So Jim Brewer for VP. Jim would be... How about Jim Brewer for press secretary, just for fun? So I hope nobody on the stage last night. Papa DB1. Okay, that's interesting. Kudos for going live. Leo Terrell for VP. It's interesting. I see a lot of people say Scott's awesome. Yeah, you think he is with TP as well. Some people don't like him. For those who don't like him, explain why. You know, someone said, oh, he's gay. Who gives a shit? Like, I don't think anyone actually cares. Like, that doesn't mean anything and it shouldn't. You know, he's certainly not pushing it on anyone. He's had, you know, that I'm aware of. You know, he's not, you know, where I have a problem is when, you know, you start going after our kids. You start doing the trans stuff. You try to mutilate our kids' genitals. How did that not come up at the debate last night, by the way? How is that not an issue? The Democrats are out there pushing for 3-year-olds to chop off their genitals, and it's not an issue at the Republican primary? How did that not come up? The environment comes up. Global warming comes up, but that doesn't. That's bullshit. And so, you know, that's where I draw the line. Honestly, if some 40-year-old dude wants to chop his dick off, like, I could care less. I legitimately couldn't care less. What I don't want to do, I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to pay for it. Okay? I don't want to have to capitulate to the lunacy that I have to call you whatever random gender or furry or whatever the fuck you are or want to be called, whatever, you know, at that time, stay out of my face. If you want to do that, if you want to, perfect, fine. Like, great. Do whatever you want. I could care less. Stop asking me to pay for it. Stop talking about it nonstop. Stop making me and everyone feel like we have to comply at, you know, or be canceled to whatever neuroses you're feeling at the same time, okay? And stay the fuck away from our children. Simple. You do that, I could care less what you do. I don't actually think we should be telling people what the hell they do. If that guy wants to cut, it's fine. We're probably better off. Great. Let him do what he wants. Happy people are productive people. So I could care less. You go after our kids, you start indoctrinating them, whether you're going after them or trying to push them there or to try to make them think that this is the norm or influence them or push them, you're a fucking groomer, and I got a serious problem with that. And there's, that's where I draw the line. And I think that's probably where most of us are. Some people that will disagree with me. They say, they should not even be able to do that for, you know, hey, that's, yes, Don, that's the perfect wording. Yeah, listen, you know, there's going to be some. Listen, I've been criticizing. He's soft on I'm soft on that. Like literally, I was talking about this stuff. I was talking about girls and boys in women's sports for 3 years before it became an issue. I was one of the first people on there on Twitter. And you know when I knew I was right on this one? When old Twitter, even old Twitter, were like, fuck, I hate you, Don, so badly. You're the worst human being in the world. And I actually agree with you on this one. That's when I realized it's just a mafia. It's like 0.1%, but man, they're loud. They'll pressure people. They run campaigns. They get together. That's what we need to do as a Republican Party. If we did that, we'd be unstoppable. Krista 500, we believe in you, Don Jr. Susie B 22, I like Byron better. He's more of a fighter. Then who? If we're talking about then Vivek, maybe. Don Jr. 2028. Oh boy, Byron's great. He's a friend. We had dinner last night. For the record, like so he's a great guy. He was on the show yesterday. We had dinner last night. He actually got in the spin room. I imagine maybe Fox News was too scared to stop literally a black conservative congressman from going in the room. Didn't stop him from stopping Matt Gaetz, but they stopped Byron. Lady zombie killer, praying for President Trump and your family. Well, guys, that means so much to us because we need it. We need it. We need more of that. Shauna Fong, free Assange. Yeah, I agree. Like I said, that's something I'd push for. And, there was a time when, before we were really in this, when all that was going down, where I would not have agreed with that. Where I'd be like, oh, he sold a plea and changed it. No. America was lying to the American people. They were lying to the world. We live in this moral platitudes that we talk about, that we try to mandate to everyone else, and we were breaking every one of those norms. We deserve to be called out for that. I would never want to endanger any of our guys in the field or not, but if we're lying to the world, we're lying to the American people, we're lying to the taxpayers, and we're then sitting there on a thing, preaching some sort of moral superiority, we got to call it out. And so, yes, he'd be the first person I'd want to get out of there, in my opinion. Can we recall GOP leadership, or do we need to wait for January 2025? I guess they have the ability to remove people. I want to see some more action. I don't actually think that comes from the Speaker of the House. I think he's actually been, frankly, more aggressive than any Speaker of the House. Now it's not a high bar. We had John Boehner and Paul Ryan, but he's doing those things. He's formed those committees. I do want to see some action out of those committees pretty soon. I understand there's a process. I understand the Democrats and the other people in government are going to slow roll those things. But eventually we're going to need to see some action. And we're getting to that point. I think we're going to see a lot in September. And I'll give you my full opinion on that, because you'll have, essentially appropriations coming up. They're going to have to come up with a budget. They're going to have to do that. And if they keep funding the witch hunt, if the Republicans don't have some balls, baby, 52-25, I guess. Yeah, the rules have changed. Yeah. If we don't start actually using the weapons that we have, I'm not saying we're going to get great legislation passed. We don't control the Senate, even with the rhinos in there. Even we could have a 60-vote majority and still probably lose because of these weaklings. But we do have the power of the purse. And if the Republican Party in control of Congress can't utilize that, or refuses to utilize that for whatever reason, with the stuff that's going on right now, my mood on all of this is going to change drastically. So, why is your father so buddy-buddy with Lindsey Graham? That's Tim Brover on. It's a good question. I've called out Lindsey Graham. I called him out with the warmongering shit. Lindsey, actually, if you just as a person, is one of the funniest people in all of Congress. Like, he's actually a really funny guy. I don't agree with most of his politics, but I think during a lot of the Russia stuff, I think there was probably a lot of help and a lot of back channeling. I know he did, and helped me with stuff. He was one of the first people to be, in the United States Senate, where, again, it's a low bar because there's so many weaklings there, but he was the one calling out some of those things for me. Now, I've also seen the opposite, where we talk about things where he said, he would say, well, he'd be on, Hannity on Fox. He's like, we should subpoena this. I was like, well, listen, you're the head of the Judiciary Committee, and you're in control of the Senate. Like, you can actually, as an individual, have the power to actually do that. So it's actually not about politics. I think it's just it's just a personal relationship. And so, but yeah, it's one of those that's hard because I agree with so little of what I see out there. But I actually like the guy as an individual. So important to have, but I'll answer the question. I won't try to hide from it. Yeah, no, like listen, hey, no one's more anti-war than Trump. No one stopped more of those, and Lindsey's frankly the opposite. Other than maybe, based on what I saw last night, Nikki Haley, who seems like she'd go to war with anyone. So Star Dancer says Bruce/Caitlyn did it the right way. You know what? Maybe. Yeah, I guess that's right. Like, this, like I said, this will get me in trouble with some of the people that are going to be very hard. But like, I've spent time with Caitlyn, had some interesting conversations. But you know what? I'll say this: however you want to call her, is totally against the men and women's sports. Understands as someone who one of the actually great athletes of American history as a man. Understands exactly what that means for women's sports. It's not really pushing any of it on anyone. Now, you can maybe say, well, she took a Woman of the Year award or whatever, and maybe that's bullshit and took away from women. I maybe agree with that. I think as sort of one of the first more mainstream people, I know people will fault me and or Caitlyn for enabling it to make it mainstream, but maybe it was good that it became mainstream that way because we actually saw that it was probably happening anyway. And this is, again, as it relates to the indoctrination of our children. Like, no one knew this stuff was going on. This has been going on for years now. I know before we left New York, when my daughter's school, it was happening. They had a 1-hour class, the only class that had no homework or no take-home material because they were pushing this agenda. And this is before... I think it was before, Caitlyn, they were doing this stuff, but no one even knew about it. At least this sort of brought it to light. So again, if you're an adult and what was Caitlyn, in his 50s, maybe 60s, and you want to do it, I don't care. Again, don't make me listen to it ad nauseum like veganism or CrossFit or whatever. Don't force it down my throat. Don't make me capitulate to every whim that you want. If I choose to, or if I know you and I want, fine, great. But I don't have to believe that you're a furry or that you're a cat or whatever the hell you identify at that moment. It doesn't bother me as much. Don Jr., any chance SCOTUS hears election fraud cases that overturned 2020 before the election in 24? No. I wish I had a better answer for you that, but no, they're not going to do that. It would never be allowed in D.C. Scroll up, what was that? I just saw, we love President Trump. We're always going to be there, support and pray for you. Come out on top. Remember, you promised to make America great again. We'll do that. Who is that? That is Julio. 86. Thank you. Yeah, listen, that's what we're doing this for. I promise you. When people are like, oh, well, you guys made money in politics. I'm like, really? Please explain. We've spent hundreds of millions in legal fees. We've been sued at the wazoo, lost plenty of business. We're a hotel business and everything like that. But we keep fighting because it's actually worth it. I guess my father and the motorcade have pulled into the prison property, the jail. Bloomworm, sometimes I get going and talking that I'm not watching what's necessarily going on.
We're going to get a better shot.
The TV, so we're working on a better shot. Okay. So we're waiting. That could be maybe Scavino even just going live, if that's from inside the car. But we'll throw it up when we see some good stuff. At this point, we need Roto-Rooter. Drano won't work. Not incorrect. Listen, we'll drain the swamp, but the swamp has teeth. They're not just going to go away. These are a lot of people that got very powerful and very rich, doing things a certain way, and Trump's a threat to that, which is again why they've sort of banded together. To fight all of that. Why aren't the Republicans impeaching the corrupt Bidens? Well, they got to get there. They've collected at least a lot of the information. I think they got to figure out what more is there. And if they don't have that inquiry, then we're going to have a problem if there's if the evidence there. God knows it seems like it's there. I think we all have to realize, again, still, there's still a DC process. And I'd love to pretend there isn't, but there is. And, we got to go through it, and we understand we got to be stonewalled, but we got to be aggressive enough. We got to make sure and hold our representatives on the Republican side accountable that they actually go aggressive enough to actually get the information and not go for the stonewall. They'll run it to the limit and then get you the stuff at the last second. It'll be incomplete. They'll start the clock over. So we got to push that and make that happen. But yeah, we're going to have to get answers very quickly and very soon. Otherwise, they're going to run out the clock. And honestly, who knows what they'll do in the next election? And how do we not talk about this yet? How about mask mandates coming back? I mean, they're trying to bring this bullshit back. Do you believe this? I think they're going to get pushback even from anyone other than the biggest lunatics on the left. The guy that's still wearing masks while driving a car by themselves. F. Lindsay. Listen, I told you, politically, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I disagree. He's a rhino. Yeah, no shit. Nikki Coco, thanks. I only told you, why do they just have a good relationship? And I say he's a funny guy, but I'm not saying I agree with literally anything at this point politically. Certainly not Ukraine. And then if you look at anything I've said over the last few years since that started, you'll understand that I've been very, very consistent. R. Santos, 237. John Solomon for press secretary. That's interesting. John Solomon's the guy that broke a lot of these stories, was labeled a conspiracy theorist. I think all of the stuff ended up being right. I would love to have him involved. He's one of the few. By the way, we're talking about like mainstream media being dead. Follow John Solomon. Check him out. And that'll be a big, that could be a great person to have somewhere in administration. It's someone who's willing to dig, who understands how to get in there, unlike literally anyone in our media, or maybe the ones that do understand it, but they're just not willing to dig because, that would be bad for the Democrat Party. So Papa DB1, DJT Prez, Junior Vice President, KGAG, Kerry, Secretary of State, General Flynn DOD, Robert L. Peters, inmate. Robert L. Peters, I think that's what they've discovered this week. That was the Joe Biden alternate email address, the one that he was using to communicate with the people who'd been paying him and Hunter and stuff like that. A lot of money. So that would be an interesting lineup. So I think that would drive people crazy. Timber, did the FDA approve ivermectin as a treatment? Did you see? Of course they did. Yeah. Now that they've milked as much money and people are afraid of the other thing, the cheap alternative that would have done much better, frankly, would have actually worked and been effective. Now it's approved. Remember before it was horse dewormer, it'll kill you. The only thing that actually worked. Yeah, it's kind of a big one. Luke down under, hey Don, assured of our ongoing prayers, this increasing manufacturing in the U.S. still an important part of MAGA platform. Look forward to seeing you in Australia. Yeah, if I can make it down, I'd love to. I gotta figure it out. I had sort of that time blocked, and now that we're getting closer to primaries, it's getting harder. But I'm going to work on trying to do that. But yeah, manufacturing is still an important part of that. That's what's giving China our power. The trade deficit with China that they have is literally their military budget. We are paying to build their military. With every item that we buy that's made in China instead of here, we continue to increase that gap that they're using to build a military that's literally designed to take us out and put them in first place. Tinker Hatfield too. Nikki Haley just needs to get laid. Wow, what a frustrated woman. That's pretty funny. Cozell, cool. I don't mind Jenner. Yeah, like I said, I don't either. We have a good relationship. Caitlyn has been nothing but good to me. It gets me in trouble saying that, but like I said, I don't just play to a crowd. I know there's a lot of people that will disagree with me, but he's not a groomer. Yeah, he's not a groomer. He's not pushing it on someone else. He agrees that we shouldn't be pushing it on kids. He agrees that men shouldn't be playing women's sports. I'm like, for the most part, I think he feels how I am about it, other than, made the decision to do that. But again, not asking me to pay for it. He's probably got plenty of money of his own. And so, that way, I'm living, let live. Some of the sort of the DeSantis simps, when I said that first, I think I said on this show first, they went after me. Oh my God, he's pro-trans. I'm like, give me a break. Like, it's such nonsense, and that's the problem. There's such disloyalty in this game. A lot of people that, frankly, I helped sort of create, meaning I had a big social presence. They were little accounts that, put out some good material, and I'd do that, and then, they get on someone's payroll. We weren't paying them. It was actually an organic movement when we were doing it. Then they get on someone else's payroll, and all of a sudden, they're Don Jr., he's a rhino. Give me a break. Investigate the money sent to Ukraine. Obviously, that's somewhat going on. We gotta get it faster. Would you ever have Kennedy on your show? Yeah, I'd probably talk to anyone. I'd probably talk to anyone. It's interesting. Some people not fans of Hannity. They don't like the CIA pen. Yeah, I do. That one is a little bit. That one always, I was like, wait a minute. Like, we're talking about the deep state. It's like, is the CIA not like probably the largest culprit within the deep state? That one I'm trying to figure that out. But again, in 16, I'll say I had a great relationship with Sean. He probably was the person I went back and forth with more than anyone else in all of politics, including like my family. Like, we went back every day and was very helpful, sort of. Getting me to figure out that game. So like I said, I'll say that I've stayed friends with him. I don't talk to him as much as certainly not as much as I used to, or that often these days. But he was good to me. Always had been that way, and learned a lot from him. So again, that won't be popular here. I get that, but I'm going to tell you the truth because I'm not going to lie to you if you ask me the question. Andrew Tate is Big Don's running mate. That's funny. It'd be fun. Cigars in the White House would be cool. Bill Mitchell. Bill Mitchell's, he's a paid influencer. He'll go wherever the wind goes. Literally, when Bill Mitchell, the day before, I guess he took a role on the DeSantis campaign, he put out a tweet, be like, I'm loving what I'm seeing from the Trump campaign, and Don Jr. is a potential future president. I'm sure he's deleted that since then, but literally look it up. Like 2 days later, I'm disgusted with what's going on in the Trump campaign. Like, it's like, oh, you mean, so you did these things, fluffing Trump to try to get a job. You're not going to do that. We weren't going to hire you for this. It's not what we do. Like, so Ron DeSantis says, hey, we'll give you $3,000 a month, whatever, tweet for me. And, all of a sudden you really hate it. Bill Mitchell's full of shit. Robert Barnes would be great. Viking for me. I agree with that. Any update on Trump's arrival? It looks from my team.
He's arrived at Fulton County. He's in jail for processing. No cameras anywhere in the vicinity. Not allowed to be on the vicinity, on the property at all.
Can you guys hear my team speaking or not? There, take that, Mike. Just keep it there. So, okay. So I've been talking too much. Not clearly. Okay, he's taking the mic. This is Drew from my team.
So President Trump has arrived at the Fulton County Jail.
Okay.
He's there for processing. There will, of course, be a booking photo, which we've been talking about, whether smile or not smile, and no cameras there inside the jail. And then when he comes out, we'll have a shot of him coming out, and we don't know if he'll make remarks or not. We think he's just going to go straight to the aircraft. And
it's my father. I have a feeling he'll make remarks. Listen, still a Trump.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You want the mic, but yeah. Well, I guess the question will be, and we may not find out about this till later, but the question will be, will there be a gag order?
That's the big
which
question.
Would prevent him from making, and that's what they're trying to do. So, let's see. Let's see what happens.
There's also
with that.
an important angle there, because the gag order will likely focus on you can't make threats against public officials, etc. But if you have these judges who are so sort of in the tank for the prosecution, they can construe anything as a threat. And it opens up this whole
that's when you're the judge, jury, and executioner. What's the threat? Like I say, I don't like you. Oh, that's a threat. It's like, no, it's not. I just don't like you. Like It's not, but they can and will interpret anything, how they see fit. So I think that's an important point.
Yeah. And I think that's also the frustration with the debate last night is there was a very little sort of talk about what's at stake. It was felt like it was 2010 talking about endless war, and it was sort of, as you said earlier, it was very disconnected from what's at stake.
All right. People are asking me how come I don't follow a certain handle. Guys, there's so many out there. I see United Spotter. I'll see if there's anything there that's good. I'd love to check it out. But I just, there's a lot of stuff out there. I can't follow all of it, or I'd literally spend all day on social media. Where's Kimberly? She was on earlier. I think she's downstairs. We're gonna have dinner after this. This one was just sort of an AMA, just to to talk about all these things. Just literally so much happened in the last 24 hours. How many people are still watching, guys?
We got a lot.
No, we're at almost 2 hours in, and we still got over 11,000. So I'll go a little longer, and let's see if perhaps when he comes out, that'll be interesting. Corona viewer, drain the swamp, love the Trumps, much love and respect, truly honorable family. I appreciate that. Don Jr., how are you feeling at the moment? We are Rise. I guess it's supposed to be a somber moment. I'm sort of over all the bullshit that I feel like we got to keep fighting. I feel like we can't stop. I feel like, they're going to do this. If they can do it to my father, they tried to do it to me, I guess. That was a fail, but this is different, right? This is a Atlanta, Georgia court in a corrupt regime with a corrupt, you see that's why it's designed that way. GOP is dead. That's true. I'll say that, in the historical sense of the word, or the historical policies. It's now the party of working class Americans. What we didn't see last night was the people that want to represent the GOP as a potential president or as a presidential candidate don't understand that. So what we need to do is we got to fix the dichotomy. Trump did it in 2016, spoke for the working class people of this country and those kind of Americans, and no one got it, including the people who got the benefit of their votes. We gotta figure that out and do that right. Yeah, I think after all of that, I think once my father's either on the plane or something like that, after I think it's probably 9 o'clock. I think my father's. When's Greg Kelly on Newsmax? Is he? He is actually on. He's 9, right?
No, they have the panel. They have their panel show at 9. Greg Kelly comes on after 10.
Oh, I think okay. So maybe it's 10. Maybe when my father gets back home or whatever. I think he's calling in. I think he's calling into Greg Kelly on Newsmax late tonight. So if I don't speak to him first, you could probably hear from him then. Okay, someone said 9 p.m. So other people are saying 10. So which one is it, guys? 9 or 10? If so, I encourage you to check out Newsmax, not Fox. Honestly, we're sort of at the point. No, it says 9 p.m. right now. Yeah, I think bowling's on at 8 because I literally did. I'm doing bowling, and I just did that right before I went on here. So I'll be on bowling, and then I think my father will be on in the next hour talking with Greg Kelly. Did China in Cuba ever get asked at the debates? That's a great question. No, it did not. Not even China barely came up. Our biggest threat barely came up. Indoctrination of our children and mutilation of our children that's become commonplace. Minnesota, what was it? They don't even want to allow you to discriminate in the workforce against people who are pedophiles. You're not allowed. You can't discriminate on race, religion, sexual orientation, including if you're if you're a kindergarten, you still have to hire pedophiles. You can't discriminate against them. This is Democrat policy, folks. Your grandparents' Democrat Party is dead. Kennedy would be, he'd be labeled a, fascist Nazi. He'd be rolling over in his grave right now if he knew what happened to the Democrat Party. So we got to remember that. We're with the Trumps. Thank you. God bless you. The real Safi, thank you. cool. I watch him. He and Rosanna Scotto back in the day were a great duo, New York's Best. That's Donnie Girl's idea over on Locals. JJ Pink 26, Evil from Within 100%. William Wallaceck, Crusade Against America. It certainly feels like it, right? Certainly feels like it. Rebecca, SWFL, Southwest Florida. Thanks, Rebecca. Says, we're fighting with you. Ozzy Murdoch wanted to make Trump a non-person, and in doing so, he turned Fox into a non-network. I like that, LEK. That's true. Yeah, by trying to turn Trump into a non-person, he's turning Fox into a non-network. What I want to know is, I guess they own so much of the board. Is Trump leaving? Yeah, you can put it up. Let's throw this up. Okay, we're going to put it up. All right, so that's Trump leaving. So if the mugshot was taken, I don't know. Let me see if anyone on the team texted me what went on. I haven't been paying attention. Obviously, I've been talking with you guys, but I haven't seen anything. Let's see. Okay. I don't know. I guess. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't want to even give them any ideas. But a friend of mine just sent me a joke. It was me in a mugshot. Be like, when's your turn? I was like, so far I haven't. But the fact that they want to add indictments later on, I guess if I talk about it, maybe they'll add me. But you know what? Fuck them. I gotta be who I am. That was the thing when it was Russia, 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 and they wanted to try me for treason, a crime punishable by death. My lawyers, the whole time, you're not allowed to talk. You can't go. I literally went on TV that night. That night, actually, Hannity had me on and basically he's like, court, floor is yours. You have my viewership. Just speak. So again, we got to call balls and strikes. He was very good to me. Gave me a very big platform to say that. And I went on TV and this is bullshit and this is a lie. And my lawyers called me after that. They're like, oh my God, they're going to throw you in jail for life. This is a crime punishable by death. Are you out of your freaking mind? And I was like, nope, I can't do it. I will not capitulate. I will not bend a knee to these assholes like Adam Schiff. I just wouldn't do it. And it took like 2 years. And after it was all done, they come up to me and go, we were wrong about one thing. They were glad I ended up speaking because they go, you know what, if you would have curled up in a ball and stuck your thumb in the corner crying for mama, they would have loved that. And guess what? They would have gone even harder. Because you fought back, because you were able to call out the bullshit, because you called out the lies and you called out the fake news and you showed the actual truth and you were open and transparent, you were such a harder target. And so, it wouldn't have been conventional legal wisdom, certainly. But I did the opposite of that, and it made a difference. So, never bend the knee. By the way, that's a great point. Raider 208. Never bend the knee. Okay, remember, all these people who got canceled for saying, there's two genders, or like, oh, Merry Christmas, or all the people, the Hollywood people and the athletes and the celebrities that said something that was like literally at any other point in history wouldn't have even been remotely controversial. They all got their ass canceled. But you know when it got worse? When they apologized. The apology was just the start. Because then it's like, well, now you're saying you did something wrong. They didn't do anything wrong, but they apologized. Oh, I'm so sorry, I'll never do it again. I got in trouble like that for hunting. I know it. Not everyone's a hunter, and not everyone agrees with that, but I do it. And I talked about the facts of conservation and what hunters do for that and how much money they donate. And, it's 10x what any of the environmental nonsense, animal rights nonsense people do. People bitch about it, and then it's nothing. Half the animals in this world wouldn't exist if it wasn't for actual hunters doing these things. So I did that. And, they went nuts. But you gotta, if you bend the knee, if you do oh, I'm so sorry, I'll never do it again. That's when they start owning you. The people who got canceled and had the worst ramifications were the ones that actually caved and folded. Not because they actually made a mistake, but because they figured it'd be easier to give the enemy what they wanted, and then it would end. And it didn't end. It was just the beginning. So you're 100% right, man. Don't give these guys... don't bend the knee. Michelle Hippie, proud of your dad. Kimmy B, Don, I'm sorry for you and your family. BNL, when Fox hired Paul Ryan, Fox died from a slow death. Certainly seems to be the case. And again, like I said, by the way, guys, it's also why I say for this show, if you're still watching, like it, just hit the like button. How easy is it to do that, right? It'll just make sure that other people can see this if they tune in a couple hours, or if they tune in late, or if they want to see it tomorrow, or whatever it is. Like, hit the like button so they can see this. This gives them an alternative to watching Fox News and the drivel coming from there. So, like, do me a small favor, hit the like button. If you're watching this just streaming it on a web browser, like, download the Rumble app. Like, you know, Rumble, hey, I got on Rumble early. I was like the second verified user on Rumble after Bongino. He called me, talked about it. I was like, I love what they're doing. This was the time when Twitter threw Trump, off the platform, and Facebook and all these guys took him off. And I was like, they're like, we'll never do it. You can come on, say whatever you want. I did it in short form, and eventually they're like, hey, can you do more? We're trying to grow. Download the Rumble app so that you can get notifications about me or any of the other people you like following. Like I said, it's not all about me. I don't want it to be all about me. I had a lot easier as a real estate developer. What do you think Christie will have on that loser Joe Walsh that they spend 24/7 trashing your father? I don't even, I don't, Walsh, he's a non-entity, like literally doesn't mean anything. But back to where I was going. So you download the Rumble app, follow the people on here. You're just like I say with our sponsors, right? You're voting with your wallet. You can download the Rumble app, support the people on here, or you can, get your news from a mainstream source that doesn't actually align with your views. You see what they've been doing. They're doing that. It's like Patriot Mobile. You can have your phone. You're going to have a mobile phone. I'm not going to fault you. Mine's sitting right here. You're going to have one. But like AT&T, the parent company of which tried to cancel Newsmax and LAN, the station that's going to have my father on tonight. They tried to literally get rid of them on cable. So you can give your money to them, who are willing to lose money to prevent conservative views being out there, or you can give it to a company that literally fights school boards to put conservatives in school boards in conservative areas, who fights for the sanctity of life, the Second Amendment, like all of these causes, and they give back. They give back to Turning Point. They support all these things. I see them at every conservative sort of rally that I'm at. They're present. So check them out. For quick, easy activation, go check out patriotmobile.com/triggered. Okay, like the show. patriotmobile.com/triggered. It's fast. It's easy. You get free activation if you do it, and you're going to have a phone. So, like, why give your money to people who are going to take your money and weaponize it against all the things you believe? It's such a no-brainer to me. So go check out patriotmobile.com/triggered. Free activation. Do that. Check out the folks at Goldco. Okay, go to donjuniorgold.com. Just learn how to diversify your portfolio. Again, there's other guys that do this. These guys will take you through it step by step, but they're also willing to step up and support a show like this. Allow me to have a team to do this, to talk to you, to give you what's going on, to give you the real updates. It's really important. So support the sponsors of that. Make sure you're watching Rumble whenever you can. Make sure your friends are aware of that stuff. And again, send them the good clips. If you like this podcast, if you like the thing, send it to them so other people can see it. Tell them what to do. Steph71, I love you, babe. You're working for me. Saying, Kimberly, give that man a back rub tonight, LOL. That it may happen. That may happen. You can usually convert that into something even better. I'm gonna be sleeping on the couch by the time I get done, but we're having fun. So it's a big one. Yeah. So Melissa Barnes saying, Donnie's driving now. Thanks for doing this. I love this. You distressed me immensely. Tell Kim hi. Talk to you on Monday. I need some jerky, please, since you hunt. I go, plenty. I did pretty well in Alaska, and so it should be good. Someone said happy endings. That's totally wrong. You're not allowed to say that. Hope I can do better than that. How are you on Newsmax right now? Yeah, notice I'm wearing the same clothes. You're asking me the questions live. So I'm actually live here. I pre-recorded that one literally at like 5 o'clock. Eric Bowling was like, hey, can you do this? I was like, sure. My problem is how many people are still watching?
We have over 10,000.
We have over 10,000 still on there. So, okay, well, Oh, so they're saying the mugshot was released, but it's a fake. It's not real. So let's see. I'm just trying to check these notes for other stuff. Let's see. Okay, nothing from those guys yet about what's going on. Talking to my team to see if there's anything more. Okay, nothing yet. So let's see. I think he's still okay. So put that on the screen just so people can see it, because I don't want him leaving here where we can talk and they can see what's going on. But the motorcade, we have that going. Yeah. Someone's putting up the fake mugshots. Yeah, they had a couple. Like a friend sent me, like, let's say, it was the one of me, which would be interesting because I. Let's see. You know, the Don Jr. mugshot. So did we cover? I think we asked. What's the face that he should make? Cheryl IP, you guys are so funny. Well, I appreciate that, Cheryl. Again, I may be sleeping on the couch based on the happy ending / convert massage commentary, but this is you guys. You guys are giving me the information. I'm just commenting on it, and I'm perhaps a little bit too much of an open book, so it could get me in trouble. But Kimberly, okay, Lucy with diamonds. Okay, Kim. Is she downstairs? I don't know. She may have. I think she had to go to a dinner. So yeah, I was gonna say she could join us for a little bit and take some of these questions. Someone said serious about Stern. What was that? Was that Howard Stern? Oh, serious but Stern. Never mind. Yeah, where's Biden's mugshot? CM Truth, 100%. Elijah Fire, serious but Stern. I think that's right. Or you go with just the smirk face, which is because like everyone knows it's a joke. Let's see. Anxiety hacker. I'm Kerry Cottinger's son. I just wanted to say thank you for all you do, sir. Well, I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Trump 28, Trump 24, Trump 28. Uh-oh, is that me or is that someone else in the Trump family? Mugshot is out. Yeah, I'm told it's a fake. I don't think so. Pucker face. Is that like duck face? Like huge. Yeah. Oh, Ronnie. One Ronnie D. I love the dude today with blacks for Trump. That was. Now it didn't say blacks. It said a word that I'm not allowed to say. Even you know the left even tried to cancel Joe Rogan. Remember how insane that was when they were like, he just said this guy said this word, and it was like that was enough to get him canceled. But you know that with the A, not the hard version, but like you know, and it's like, but if you got to find the meme because it's up there. The guy makes such a strong case and point. Like it was sort of amazing. The United States, you've made over 150 videos for me. Okay, have I seen them? Have I tweeted some of the stuff out? Again, you know, my problem is between all my social platforms, it's million. You know, I got 10 point something million on Twitter, a couple million on Truth, like 7 or 8 on Facebook. Like, you know, and I don't abandon the platforms even if they're IG. They censor the shit out of me. But I think they want us to give up. They want us to lose ground. They want us to cede every battlefield. So even if we're functioning or fighting at a disadvantage, I think we still have to be on them and keep going. The United States, Johnny, you made over fun. We're on Truth Social. All right, so, try to tag me. I'll see if I can find it and go from there. Tucker about blacked out the entire media. Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, I don't think anything's ever been watched like that. And because it's sort of streamed, they're still racking up probably millions of views an hour. Are you bringing Kimberly with you when you come to Australia? That's a good question. I don't know. A lot of it will depend on scheduling. Like I said, I've been to Australia. I spent a lot of time there. I actually love it. I spent like 6 weeks backpacking through the country when I was like a junior in college. Awesome people, had a blast. Literally just staying in like youth hostels out of a backpack for that long. I had a blast. Only problem with Australia is it's really hard to get to. Just time, right? You lose a day in and out, basically. And then sometimes you actually lose 2 days out because you're flying for all that long, but then you're, plus the rotation of the Earth, you come back 2 days later than you left, or vice versa. I forget which one. So I want to do it, but if I do like 3 days of events there, and it's like 6 days, which, coming into a primary is going to be harder and harder for me to pull off. Okay, Ronnie D1, I think he's posting the URL to the guy that I'm talking about. That was pretty damn awesome. Did someone say 16,000 are watching right now?
Yeah.
Wow, did we get boosted?
We went from 12, 13.
Okay, so what I do differently? Well, yeah, 16, 320 right now. That's pretty big for streaming. Like that's pretty damn big. And I'm trying to figure out. So we went down to like 9 for a little while, and then it bumped back up. So what happened in there? Did I get boring? Like, in all fairness, I've gone on for 2 hours and 15 minutes right now. So like, I think I'm doing okay. Not low energy. But what happened that there was a lull? Was there something going on? Timing? Okay, so that's a question for you.
Breaking news.
Maybe that's right. Maybe it's breaking news. Maybe they see it. Maybe, you get pulled away. Or maybe now we're getting into prime time, so there's more people able to be watching. So that's a question. So for everyone, I've been going on at 6. That's worked well. Would later be better? I don't know who else is streaming simultaneously at 6 because I can't really watch it. Would later be better in terms of you guys? Do you think there's more people watching later, or do you think 6 o'clock is okay? Does it matter because it's streaming and people will watch it sort of when they want to anyway, and they can start it at 8 o'clock because I'm usually done by then, and it's usually fully uploaded. Do you guys have opinions on that? Yes, later. Later is better because of the 3-hour time change. Okay, so that's my buddy George from BTE USA, makes some incredible firearms and assault weapons. I have a bunch of them, and he's in Arizona, so he's, I guess Arizona's one of that doesn't really change so you're either 2 or 3 depending on what's going on. You guys don't do the daylight savings or something like that. So that makes sense, I guess, because 6 is like 3, that's middle of the afternoon. Bannon's 5 to 7. Okay, that's interesting. Dan said it'll be a 7 next week, 3 hours now. Oh, yeah, what's an assault weapon? You're right. He makes awesome ARs and 9mm carbines and suppressors and cool stuff. So check out BTE USA. A true MAGA patriot, done a lot for vets, does a lot for our military. BT stands for battle-tested equipment because he's actually sending his stuff to some of our operators abroad to let them see and make improvements. So Bannon told us to go watch you at 6. See, I love that. Like, I always go on at 6. That's sort of my thing. But it's cool when you have someone that's going simultaneously, actually saying, "Hey, go check that out because it's important." And those are guys that are actually in the fight with us. That's huge. Listen, Bongino gets 60K. I believe that, and he's done a great job, and he's been on the platform from day one. He's the guy that got me on the platform, and does it 5 days a week. I think there's, if I didn't have sort of another day job, or I'd love to do 5 days a week. I think you could sort of build up a little bit more momentum than doing twice a week, but a little bit hard for me to do, especially given how much I travel. Patty B 65-6 is good. Indictments 1345-12. We're still here because Trump is ruling everyone's the Democrats are scared. Thank you, Cosmic UWA. Trump talking to media now. Can we put in the volume of what he's saying if he's talking to media? Is he actually talking? It looks like he's pulling up to a car. He's on the tarmac. Let's see. Can we click? Yeah, we got RSBN on right now, so can we put on their sound for a minute if he does start talking? We'll watch it live. I have it up here right now. Do I think the identity of Q will be released in the future? I doubt it. I doubt it. And we know on Rumble Watch, the Kennedys need to speak up. Bongino's about us. Yeah, like I said, it's do I think DWAC's a good investment? Listen, I'm on the board. I got to be careful. I don't know what I'm even allowed to say about it because, like, the SEC, given how long they certainly jerked us off. Is Q Jared? No. Can assure you of that. Sean in Montana says he's talking at the airport, but I'm looking at, okay, so we have it on RSBN. You see it there. The second we actually see him get out of the car and start talking, they're saying it's live coverage. We'll put on the sound. We can hear that and we can comment on it. Does that work for you guys? If I don't have it, or I can't give you the, if I can't give you the audio wherever else it is, because this is also streaming on Rumble, so I can click in. We'll do this simultaneously. We'll listen to what my father says, and I'll keep talking. How's your father feeling tonight? You know, I spoke to him last night. He was fine. You know, but shouldn't be. But we've gotten used to this. We've gotten used to this. So it looks like he's getting out. So, hey guys, also remember, like, share, subscribe. If I got 15,000 people watching, you know, I only see 2.1K likes. All you have to do is hit a thumbs up sign. So hit that, and we're going to go, hit it now, and we're going to go to the sound, okay?
Really believe it's a very sad day for America. This should never happen.
I got to put it here.
Challenge an election. We should be able to challenge an election because the election was a rigged election, a stolen election. And I should have every right to do that. As you know, you have many people that you've been watching over the years do the same thing, whether it's Hillary Clinton or Stacey Abrams or many others. When you have that great freedom to challenge, you have to be able to, otherwise you're going to have very dishonest elections. What has taken place here is a travesty of justice. We did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong. And everybody knows it. I've never had such support. And that goes with the other ones too. What they're doing is election interference. They're trying to interfere with an election. There's never been anything like it in our country before. This is their way of campaigning. This is one instance, but you have three other instances. It's election interference. So I want to thank you for being here. We did nothing wrong at all, and we have every right, every single right, to challenge an election that we think is dishonest, that we think is very dishonest. So thank you all very much, and I'll see you very soon. Thank you.
Mr. President, did you pardon yourself?
Mr. President, Mr. President, how is this different from the previous investigations, sir?
Listen, for a guy who they want to throw
speaking
in
out
jail
against
for the rest
the
of his
rigged
life,
election,
that's
the fact that
pretty stoic guy. That's what we call toxic masculinity, folks. Not some little whining bitch, not crying, not emotionally disturbed, just taking it like a man, and that's important. You know, yeah. Someone asked, "Would he pardon himself?" Well, that's the reality. That's why they're. By the way, so that's a good point. Why we're talking about some of these things, you know, that's why they're trying it in the state of Georgia, because you can't, because it's a state crime. You know, that's why, dude, the Democrats have thought this stuff out very well. And same with the New York AG, right? They want to keep it in the state because you can't pardon state. The president can only pardon the federal crimes. The governors can do the state stuff, and so you know, that's a real problem, and that's part of why they're trying to do this. So, you know, again, the Democrats, man, these fucking people are evil. They're vicious. They're evil. And, you know, they'll do whatever it takes. So, someone's saying, did something happen in New York? I don't know. It could be a troll, so we'll find out for you. But I don't know. Maybe I'm totally wrong. Unless it gets moved to federal. Yeah, but I think from a legal perspective, that's a good question. USA Anonymous, unless it gets moved to federal. But you got to petition for that, and they then have to agree. So a corrupted court they're never going to agree to that. So it's not as simple as just being, oh, I'd like it to be in federal court. Oh, that's freaking wonderful. Like, you know, as we like to say, F your feelings. So it's not that simple as a matter of law just to say it gets moved to federal court. Drew, you're a lawyer, right? Am I right on that one?
Yeah, I mean, we have to make a motion to move venue. A motion to move venue, arguing that, you know, these are federal issues. For example, they occurred as they were working in their capacity as, you know, chief of staff or whatever.
Well, if you're
it may
the president of the United States, I would think that's
right.
It's a solid point, but I guess in a corrupted regime, they're going to say, no, being the president of the United States has nothing to do with federal magic.
Yeah, well, this is the problem. When the jury, the judge, the prosecutor are stacked, it's like, how do you apply the law evenly and all,
Well, some of the guys were saying, get Robert Barnes back on. He's been on the show. Robert's great. He's a friend. He's very good friends with some of the guys on our team as well. So yeah, we should have him back on or in studio, or maybe maybe we do a Q&A like AMA with Robert Barnes, just focused on legal once sort of all of this stuff plays out. I think maybe that would be a good one. So we'll see. All right, someone says, Lips David 78. It's my birthday. I'm having a few beers. Have fun, buddy. That's great. New York is bombed. Again, are we seeing anything unreal, or is this just a troll? Yeah, I don't see anything else. So, WGB 90. Scroll back up here for a second. You got some strength, man. I would not be able to hold my cool if that were my dad. I'd be calling them every name in the book. Well, probably. I've probably done that. Not that I'm all that puritanical. If you've heard some of the language I've used, even probably tonight, but I probably call them pretty much every name in the book. Maybe just not while I'm live streaming. So yeah, it feels like a troll. That's what they do. They see that you're doing well, or a lot of people are watching, so they try to see. They try to send you elsewhere. Go check out another hoax. It's sort of like Democrat playbook, right? So the two Democrats that'll watch this show just to do that. Trump's America's first family. Donnie's girl's idea over from locals is saying go check Facebook, or going to check Facebook. Okay, you chime back on if you see something there, or otherwise. That's I don't know if I usually get my news from Facebook, but I imagine if a disaster happened.
It's written fake book.
Oh, fake book. Okay, perfect. So basically, you got me, and I was wrong. The locals print is a lot smaller than the print over there, and I guess I'm getting old. I went to the optometrist it was like 2-3 months ago, just normal checkup and everything like that, and I still have like better than 20/20 vision, and she was like, "Wow, you're 45." I was like, "Yeah, that's good." Isn't she? I go, like, how much longer? Like, you're concerned. I was like, how much longer is that going to last? She goes, about 2 weeks. So maybe it's starting to check out. Yeah, so go check out Fakebook. Again, if it's a true disaster, we'll hear about it. You can chime back in. You're on local, so I'll see it pop up right away and go from there. Readers, dude, are you planning on getting dinner together and regroup? Yeah. Oh boy, Readers. Not quite ready for that. Well, I think my father's going back up to Jersey, so I'm down in Florida. So we're not doing a dinner right now. And I had a late dinner last night with Matt Gates, Byron Donalds, Chris Pavlovsky of Rumble, Kim, Ginger, Matt's wife, and some of Byron's team. We had an awesome steak at Carnivore in Wisconsin, in Milwaukee. I've had dinner there before. Actually, wanted to go back because it's that good. And I'm a guy that from New York, and we can say many things about New York, but New York's got some great steakhouses. It was an awesome meal. We had a and it was like 1 o'clock in the morning dinner. They stayed open to serve us really great steak. So if you're in Milwaukee or you find yourself there, check out Carnivore Steakhouse. It was awesome, and the people were great. Defund the 3-letter agencies. Yes, agreed. Is Trump Force One rolling yet? That's always sort of a fun one to watch. As many times as I've been on it. M. Goodman 73. President Trump, thanks for fighting for our freedom. We see you. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Okay, so it looks like, is that in the cockpit, I guess? Rolling, it's just a little dark?
Just inside the car, they left the tarmac. That's all we can see.
That's interesting. Okay. Well, yeah, so nothing really new. If we, there it is. The plane's taking off from the dark. I guess someone's just filming through the window, or it's just rolling, I guess. All right. I guess it's dark there now, so you're not going to really get much great visual at this point. But we'll see. So what do you guys think? What do you think? Okay, someone said they live in New York, no stories. So, okay, that's fine. Thoughts on Vivek? I covered that earlier. Like I said, I like what he's saying. Maybe so I don't have to rehash it for everyone who've been watching. You know, I like what he's saying. I don't know where he was in 20, 18, 16, before that. So, you know, could be real. Maybe he was just quiet. Maybe he was the closet conservative. Maybe he's saying what we want to hear. I don't know. I don't know him. I'd love to be able to, you know, I'll meet him sometime and sit face to face and love to talk to him. I'm sure I can figure that out and just, you know, assess my real thoughts. But I gave you sort of a longer version of that earlier. So if you tuned in later, you know, go check that out. Zero desire to ever go back to New York City nor any other big city. Scroll back up. Who was that? Because that's honestly, it's an interesting one. 76th Street Magnolia. Yeah, you know, it's sort of interesting. Like as a kid that was, you know, born and raised in New York City, and I spent a lot of time out of the city as well, just because my outdoor hobbies and stuff took me out there. If you told me today that I could never go back, I literally would not give a single shit. Maybe there'd be one or two restaurants I'd be like, I'd love to eat there again, but you know, it wouldn't even matter to me. And that was my home for 40 years of my life. Like, it's not even like a moment of nostalgia. It's so far gone. They've ruined it so badly. The insanity is so bad that like I don't even think about like, well, remember when? Doesn't mean anything to me. You know, so sad but true. LEK, me too. No New York for me. Lake George, yes, but that's about it. Yeah, listen, upstate's great. I kept my cabin in the Catskills. It's like my happy place. But that's not, you know, that's not New York, and that's not the people there don't ascribe to the bullshit that politically that you do, you know, in New York, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah. Okay, so Melissa says there's a mugshot, but again, I don't know. You think it's real? I mean, Melissa's a regular, you know, regular poster. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, but I don't think it's real.
That's the photo.
What? Oh, the photo is, you know the meme when they do the joint and the sunglasses after like someone owns someone and it, so, okay, well, you got me, Melissa. That was funny. I don't know if we can share a picture. I think Danny from my team's trying to download that and you know, and post it. Yeah, there it is. Can you guys see that? We got to shrink it down a little bit. There, okay. I mean, that would be a pretty badass mugshot if we can you know, get that to be real. I think maybe you do have to add the joint at this point. Who cares? Screw it. Let's just go all in. But yeah, the Thug Life meme. All right, so how are we doing? People still interested? What are we at numbers wise? Oh, 13,000. I mean, that's a big stream no matter what you say. So, well, that said, I've been holding these guys a lot longer, and my team. I'm going to blame them. Yeah. I'm going to cop out.
Breaking news before we go. According to guidance from the Fulton County Sheriff's Office, the booking photo will likely be released sometime tomorrow around 4 o'clock.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, that means they're going to leak it to the liberals first.
Exactly.
They'll make sure that everyone has their stories entirely queued up with the mugshot so they can all hit send simultaneously. Okay, so that's big news. So apparently no mugshot tonight. It's supposed to be tomorrow afternoon. That's the most recent breaking news. So I imagine that's probably it for the night. Templar 01, how proud you must be to be the son of the president. Yeah. I am pretty proud of him. Very proud of him, actually. If I wasn't, I wouldn't have made this sort of my life at this point. Yes, CNN will have the mugshot tonight, probably. But yeah, that's how it's going to be, dude. They're going to do whatever they can to line up the story in their favor to try to get the jump on anyone else. And even if it's all bullshit, it doesn't matter. You know, most people will still fall for it and go for it. So, you know, pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. What do you guys think? So for the mugshot, I mean, I think, and again, maybe this is me just having too much of an ego as a Trump. Scroll back up. Someone said something about. I want to see. Yeah, I don't even want to give her attention. She's been a loser. Not the person who wrote the thing, but the person they're talking about. I think the mugshot could literally go down as one of the great sort of photographs in American history. If and when it's released, and I think it could be iconic. I mean, you see, the Elvis mugshot, you see the Mick Jagger mugshot, Martin Luther King. I mean, and part of that's because it's a digital age. I'll it's a lot easier to share a picture today, but I think it may be one of the most iconic images in the history of the world, perhaps. And again, maybe that's ego, but I think that's reality based on how many people will ultimately see this thing. I don't think there'll be anything like it. Okay, so someone's saying, and Drew, I may need your help with this. Someone's asking, how can they charge him locally for a federal crime? I guess they're saying it's not, because Georgia, it's within the states, right? So they're saying it's a crime within the state, therefore it's not a federal crime, even if it's a federal election.
Yes, they're being charged under the RICO statutes in the state of Georgia.
Okay.
So Georgia has their own RICO statutes separate from federal law.
See, guys, this is why we need you supporting our sponsors so that I can have a lawyer on the team. Actually, I'm not a lawyer, but I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night. So, cool. They have 20 hours to get their narrative figured out. Yeah, basically, Shauna and Montana. That's 100% right. They'll take as much time as they can. They'll get all their ducks in a row. They'll all get the same thing, and then they'll be able to attack, create the narrative, and try to back it up with this. Fancy Minnie says, it's amazing you're still going live. 2.5 hours, pretty solid, right? I mean, no real notes other than I guess I opened up with the things I wanted to hit in order, but, I have sort of, I have 3 pages of this, and then, just the note on the sponsors. So again, don't forget, check out the sponsors, Goldco. The United Spot says, we love you, Don, but Goldco, check them out at donjrgold.com. Learn about it, donjrgold.com. Just protect yourself from the insanity that you're going on. Like I said, they're arresting their political opposition. Inflation, I mean, what more do you need? And also check out the great folks at Patriot Mobile, truly my friends, people I've known for a long time before I was even doing a show. They were everywhere. They show up, they support, they're real. And you can do that at patriotmobile.com/triggered. And again, if you're going to have a phone in your pocket, have it with people who give back to the stuff you believe in. Leah 23, we love our President Trump. I am pro Huntman. Get back to your hot chick. I know. I'm saying I'm just going to tell Kimberly you guys are all pushing for the massage because could probably use one. I mean, I got done working at like 2 a.m. Was on an early morning flight. Did sort of bullied my way at least as close as I could get into the spin room to do a gaggle. I wish you could see a picture of all the people I actually was able to just get because I just start talking and even my father says I'm too loud. So I guess in some instances that works well because I was able to get enough attention over there. People were coming over there, and it went fairly well. And I guess I got the message out. And frankly, one of the more viral clips, probably the most viral clip of the spin room was certainly, me talking about getting blocked out of there. I'm sure that's not true of the debate per se. But so we make it work. We turn lemons into lemonade. So I imagine we'll do that with some of that. Riddle me this, 1984. Kimberly is a lucky woman. What is that? I gotta. Maybe I have to screenshot this one to remind her. Kimberly rocks. Luckiest woman on the planet. Next to Melania. I don't know. I think Kimberly's luckier than Melania. I mean, obviously. Yeah. Then she just. I deal with plenty of bullshit, but probably not as much as my father. So I guess, who knows? Maybe Kimberly is actually luckier that way. Let's see. How we doing? Did KG see Barbie? No. It's not our thing. I think It's probably, that's my idea of hell. I like the gladiator Trump picture. That's pretty funny. Wasn't Rumble in with Fox on the debate? No, Rumble worked with the RNC to actually be the live streaming partners, and so many people are actually going away from cable and actually looking to live stream. So, you know, I actually made some of those introductions, and like, again, I would much rather you watch the debate on Rumble than, you know, than on Fox, because then at least that's going that way. So no, it's not affiliated with Fox. I think probably Fox was probably not thrilled about that, but we got to actually go to, you know, where our people are. So no, like Rumble's been nothing but awesome about those things, but they do want, you know, have to get that stuff out. And don't forget, okay, RSBN, you know, they canceled off YouTube. Rumble has them. They covered all the rallies. They covered all the this. They covered all the things that were censored by the mainstream media. When Fox stopped covering the rallies or when Trump was doing things, and when the mainstream media stopped putting those things on, even during a campaign, okay, you know who the only person putting that kind of programming on was? Rumble. You know, when YouTube wanted to cancel Crowder, who took him in? Rumble. Like, let's not even pretend or start with, you know, those rumors. I'm not trying to be a dick about it, but like the only platform for free speech, even when Elon wanted to censor some of the stuff, I guess what it was, out of Turkey, or remember when that stuff was going on, and they say, well, you know, if we don't censor this stuff, then they're going to remove us entirely from. Rumble put it on anyway. The only ones that believed in it. And I've had that conversation with the CEO, Chris Pavlovski, who's a great guy and a great friend. He is literally the only one 100% standing up for free speech. By far, you know, in that space, the best warrior for that cause. Timmy Cat, so now the election fraud could be presented in a court of law. I hope so. I hope we're able to get that. The problem is I think a lot of this stuff is just done in a way that you never get it. Remember, like, this election was won almost by like 57,000 votes in like 5 precincts that, you know, Joe Biden dominated. Much more than Obama in Atlanta and Philadelphia and Detroit. That, you know, a couple of guys just shred some stuff. I know my brother was supposed to be a poll watcher in Philadelphia. Had credentials and everything like that. Shows up with a Secret Service detail. You ain't getting in this door. Well, I'm a poll watcher. I have every right to be here. Good luck. You ain't getting in this door. Just basically couldn't get in. It wasn't going to happen. Like, that's why, you know, we don't have someone that's going to be tough and strong-arm them. And, you know, a guy with a literally armed Secret Service detail with machine guns. I don't care. You're not getting in. We're not playing the same game. You think if that guy's willing to do that, that someone's not willing to tear up a couple hundred ballots? You know how easy would it be to tear up a few thousand ballots here, and that happens in this district and that district and that district a couple times. They don't even have to be coordinated. Over. It's over. Oh yeah, well, you know, that looks like an error. We'll toss that one, that error, toss that one. Strangely, the errors only went one way. Oh, here's magically a bunch of ballots that only have Joe Biden and none of the other congressional candidates, because it looked like they were turned in a little bit late. They were in on time, magically. There's so much you can do. I don't know that you could ever actually prove any of it. When was the last time you went hunting? Watch out. I just got back from Alaska. I was in Alaska for a week. So, yeah, I was... you can go to MAGA. Okay, Joe Mama asks, where can we donate directly to your dad? It's not really a small dollar operation, but I'll send you there because it's the only thing that there's nowhere else. Go to MAGAinc.com. That's the super PAC. MAGAINC.com. They're not allowed to coordinate with the campaigns, but the people there I fully trust, and they do a good job. The Super MAGA early on, some of the guys running were my team for the last few years. You know, I'm not allowed to coordinate with them on those things. I'm not officially on the campaign either, but it's just it's easier to stay away because, you know, again, I won't get the Hunter Biden treatment when it comes to the FEC, the Federal Elections Commission. So. Yeah, you can go to MAGAinc.com and, you know, and donate there, and that's direct, and that's only Trump. Yeah, Trump's IG has 33 million. He barely posts on it, and Joe Biden has 3. Joe Biden's a fucking idiot. You know, that's why. The Don Jr. called out Fox News big time. You know, I've been saying it for a while, and you know, it's. But honestly, let's all like just make an effort to not go there for your news. Sometimes you may have to. Sometimes they may be playing like whatever it is. You know, check out the other options. Check out the streams. Pass this kind of stuff on again. Did people listen to me when I said like, share, subscribe, guys, or not? Are they bullshitting me? After I do almost 3 hours with them live, they can't even like it.
Those likes actually, what are we at now, Danny?
I see 301. What do you Okay. Okay. I was gonna quit. 4.6K. Okay. But there's there's 3 times the amount of that watching right now. So you guys are, okay, there's 12,500 people watching right now, and we got 4.6 thousand likes. Like, how hard is it to hit that button, folks? I've been bullshitting here for 3 hours. I'm not gonna be able to speak tomorrow. It's gonna screw my, I actually have to give a speech in Vegas tomorrow. Shit. Okay, I should probably go to bed, but 4.6K, you can't even like the thing. After 3 hours. Okay, folks, I'll remember that one. All right, well, appreciate you guys. I gotta go get dinner. I'm hungry. Steph, thanks so much. Melissa, thank you so much. Let's see what happens with the monk shots. Maybe I'll hop on this weekend. I'm speaking in Vegas tomorrow if you're there at the Reawaken tour. I think I'm speaking with Flynn, General Flynn, and some of those guys. So check that out. I think you'll like it. Okay, 4.91. That means a few people actually listen to me. That means about 3% of the people that are watching live, literally watching live, actually did what I just asked. So, you know, we gotta have to work on you folks. But thanks a lot, guys. Check out the sponsors down below. Download the Rumble app. I will see you on Monday, if not over the weekend, if something's going on. Flynn, I'd love to get him involved somehow. I think that'd be really important. Wow, now it's going fast again. So, okay. Let's see. God bless. Okay. Did people jump on? That's about the same. I guess we had people just saying bye, I guess, right? Yeah. Okay. Well, guys, thank you for everything. It means the world. Your guys' support, you guys checking out our sponsors, you guys liking this stuff. It matters. It's why we do this. It's how it gets out. It's how other people see it. It's how we grow that family. And I will see you guys soon. I'll see you on Monday. And for those of you guys on Locals, thanks so much as well. And I'll be doing the AMA, just the small one, short form, fully for you guys at the end of the show on Monday. So I'll see you then. Be good, and talk to you soon.
I'm looking for partners, collaborators, colleagues who want to join forces with me around the globe and create real value, generational wealth, and financial freedom for everyone else around the world. Get involved in the cryptocurrency markets. Get involved in the NFT markets. This is your moment. Life all comes down to a few moments. Don't let this pass. Now it's not too late. Next year's going to be too late. Ultimately, this is about freedom. That's the way I see it. This is about giving power back to the people and enabling billions of people worldwide to use the financial markets to improve their lives and those of their friends and their families and their communities. Honestly, I think it's a violation of human rights not to allow people basic access to financial services. Because right now people are being kept in the dark, they're being robbed of education, and it's a travesty. And so I'm looking for people that want to join me and be a part of this solution. And that all happens inside the DeFi Academy. The gains my students are making are absolutely amazing. Double, triple-digit gains in the first month alone. That's amazing. This will change your life. Now is the time to get involved. I'm going to tell you exactly how my students in my academy made money in the last 30 days. I'm talking about real trading results. And let me just whet your appetite a little bit. Let me hit you with some numbers. I'm talking Brendan from New Zealand is up 68.77% on the month. Steve from Europe up 83%. Albert in Singapore up 169.9% on one single trade. I got Susan up 153% on her call options alone. Also rocking 139% returns and 442% returns as well on individual trades. These are people that are changing their financial future in the last 30 days, but it's based on trading discipline.
I've graduated over 500 students from inside my academy from over 54 countries around the world. It's amazing. When it comes to crypto, DeFi, and blockchain, we love this space. We truly believe it's the future. This is down to our core. It's authentic to what we're doing, and everybody can tell through the camera because you can't make this stuff up. If you're watching me now, wherever you are, I implore you, take 60 seconds right now and join my academy. Apply today. Now you've got a chance. Life all comes down to a few moments. What are you going to do? What's the choice that you're going to make?